Yeah, that's the way to start. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to a special snow day episode here in New York. It is a snow day if you're watching on YouTube right now. I've gone full hat, glasses, hoodie. You might see if Josh really annoys me today, the hood might even go up. But yeah, we are full on in a snow day. Hey, just because the school and work and everything gets canceled doesn't mean that we're stopping what we're doing. Josh, how are you feeling? Well, I say we. We have a little elephant in the room to talk about today too. But the elephant not in the room. But anyways, Josh, how you doing first, man?
I'm good. That was a bit loud for me when you just came in just now because I had my volume turned up way too high, so that was a lot. But I'm excited to be here, excited to talk about something. Dude, my headphones were broken earlier. You can't do this to me. I'm gonna start panicking. All right.
Turn your volume up, man. Yeah, totally, all the way, and then you'll definitely enjoy the rest of this time. You're doing well. We've gotten the full look here. You've got the pedo stash going, and I've got the thick rimmed.
Not to have that
What?
problem.
Huh? Yeah. So you've got the pedo stash, and I've got the thick rimmed glasses. We're really going for broke here. Fantastic, dude. So, as he's gonna listen and edit this, rest in peace, Freddie. He didn't die, but he just decided that he was a little busy right now, which totally makes sense. I mean, the man works like 3 to 4 to 18 jobs and all that, and so I get that. So he's gonna take a little bit of time off. He's still doing the wonderful edits. But if this podcast feels a little more palatable, a little bit easier to get through, you don't have to deal with a screaming Eagles fan. I think we might have just bullied him too hard on the end of the last episode. I think he started crying and he didn't stop.
It was a major crash out.
Yeah, he's putting on a brave face, online and like at D&D stuff, but like he's busy with quotes around that. Yeah. So I think he's really heartbroken and can't get over that. So all in all, it's going to be just Josh and I. So if anybody wants some Eagles fanhood, some Eagles home kind of picks, then you can go elsewhere because that's not going to be here. That's right. So speaking of the Eagles, man. All right, so look, it is not football season anymore. We talked about this a little bit last time about what we're kind of going to be looking at in the foreseeable future. And after talking, you and I had a good kind of heart to heart, and we both kind of agreed. It's like just because the football season ends doesn't mean we have to stop talking about it. I think that's kind of the gist with everything. But also, we can expand our horizons a little bit. But there's a lot going on, man. And look. I know you don't necessarily think this way because you've decided to make our dynasty basically a redraft in our fantasy football league in the way that you won't renew it for anything.
I'll open it
nope,
soon.
Well, he won't renew it for anything. And he's going to wait till free agency opens, and then I'm going to be anyway, whatever. I'll be sitting here holding the bag on some guys. But, look, football season's year-round. We got guys that, if you are playing Dynasty Fantasy Football, you're looking at trading those guys right now. We also got guys that, if you're just looking at wanting to get your team to be the best it possibly can be, you're looking at who you can possibly sign, trade for, let go, re-sign, franchise tag. I mean, I just saw Kyle Pitts. I know we're not talking tight ends today, but Kyle Pitts just got franchise tagged.
Yep, or he's going to be.
Yeah,
it's not
sure.
Official.
And the Cowboys, re-signed Javonte Williams, so that's one running back off the board. So it's and kind of tells you that the Cowboys probably won't be drafting running back, even if Jeremiah Love did fall to that pick, they're definitely not going to be going that direction. So, we're starting to get some kind of semblances of what is to come in the NFL free agency. What I will say today, Marvin, go for it.
Oh, I was going to say, question with the Javonte news. Do you think that, are you concerned about George Pickens, or is that a definite tag for you, or is oh crap, more money went out the window? How is that going to...
Well, I'm not worried about the money going out the window. I'll be real. Cap, to me, has never been the issue with the Cowboys. It has always been the lack of desire to sign anybody not their own people.
And they don't even do that well.
Correct. Correct. But, it's like our biggest contract for, I believe, still to this day, I might be wrong, and I'll eat my words if someone comes at me, but is Greg Hardy. In the last, 20 years, Greg Hardy was like a 1-year, $9 million deal, and that's the most we've ever signed on an outside free agent on an annual basis in the last, 2 decades. So it's that kind of, Jerry loves to be the smartest guy in the room, so he loves to say, hey, I homegrown my talents, right? Which is why, the Micah Parsons thing happened kind of surprisingly, I guess, right? It kind of happened, suddenly, and why him being yeah, I won out, and then Jerry actually acting on it was a surprise. But
and you'll probably
said, no, I'm not too worried about the Pickens stuff. Sorry. With him, I think if he's gonna get franchise tagged. However, he's not gonna play on the franchise tag, and they will re-sign him right before the season starts.
So then why
they're gonna waste the franchise tag? Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sure.
No, I think it's gonna be indecision by the Cowboys. I think they're going to basically, and you'll see what I mean when I talk about these picks coming up. They're going to play indecision. And then they're essentially going to do kind of, in my opinion, well, honestly, yeah, we can go ahead and we're talking about the Cowboys. Let's go ahead and just jump to where I think that they're going to draft if you're good with that.
Yeah, sure. Because
let's do that. I do think this kind of answers the question. I think Jerry can't stop himself. I want 2 defensive players to be the Cowboys' first-round picks, right? You got 12 and 20. I want 2 defensive players. I would love a corner, and I'd love a defensive tackle or an edge rusher. But genuinely, right? Obviously, if you have some guys that fall, that'd be great. But I would not be surprised. Pick 20, I think you're gonna get the Texas A&M edge rusher, Cassius Howell, right? I think he's the pick. They, it feels like he might kind of fall in the draft if they pick him there. It feels like he'll be a stopgap. Who knows if he's actually gonna translate well to the NFL? But he feels like a type of guy that they're going to get. But at 12...
Interesting pick.
Well, and that's at 20. At 12, though, before that...
Yeah.
I would not be surprised, especially if they franchise tag George Pickens and basically kind of try to call a bluff that doesn't really exist, if they draft Jordan Tyson.
Interesting.
If they try to get a wide receiver at 12. And I hate that. I genuinely don't think that's a good draft pick. I don't think that's a good use of picks. But... once again, what have we talked about this entire time? Jerry loves a show, dude. Jerry loves the entertainment factor, and he loves selling tickets. And if you can sit there, and I can hear the interview now of him going, oh, well, we drafted CD back when we had Amari Cooper, and back when we had... guys like, who is our number 2 guy? Why am I blanking on that? But CD was not drafted to be, the immediate starter.
Right.
And so if they go in and they say, hey, we are going to have, basically Jordan Tyson for the future, and George is going to be here for 1 year and we'll play with that. And then they go and try to call his bluff. That's picture-perfect negotiation by Jerry Jones in his eyes, not by mine. But that's how he likes to play. And the same thing happened when Amari Cooper was nearing the end of his contract. It was okay, well, we have CD, so bye, and we shipped him off, right? For, nothing.
I mean, you might get lucky, though, because you said Jordan Tyson, right?
Yeah, and granted, he might be a top 10 pick. And that's
say the Saints are up there. They might be looking towards receiver, potentially. I think also you have teams who's up there? It's... maybe the Dolphins, who are a pick ahead of you. I mean, that's not what they need, but with Tyreek leaving, that's something.
Oh, sure, but you still got guys like Mekhi Lemon, Carnell Tate. You got guys that are also up there.
Well, I think Carnell Tate is clearing away the best receiver in the draft, obviously, and I think Mekhi Lemon and Tyson, they're kind of equal. If I'm the Cowboys, I think Tyson's a better prospect. I don't reach on Lemon. Maybe I see if. Maybe Caleb Downs falls to 12.
That was the name that came to mind when I was saying I hope a guy falls. Yeah. Right? That's the name that I was okay, because I think right now most mocks have him going at 8 or 9.
Probably.
If he can fall to that 12 spot, that's great. but I genuinely don't think, like, if you're looking at, and maybe I'm just pessimistic, right? Maybe I'm just, but I've seen Jerry play the game so much, and it does not feel like he's going to make a smart decision at 12. The smart decision will be at 20. The smart decision will be a depth move at 20, and we'll fill out some guy. Or of course, Jerry will do what Jerry does and trade back 6 picks, and then trade back to a second round pick, and just kind of mess around. But all that being said, like, I've been a fan of this organization too long to trust a good draft.
That's fair.
Let me. I'll put that all in there. He drafts decent in hindsight.
Yeah,
like
in hindsight.
Travis Frederick was supposed to be a 4th round prospect, 1st round pick, and turns into a great center. Right? You got Tyron Smith. Everyone knew he was going to be pretty good, but he was fantastic. Right? You've got guys like Micah Parsons that they traded out of the 10th pick to go back to 12 and pick. Right? So it's like you have guys that work really well.
Mm-hmm.
But Jerry loves to put on a show, and I think right now he actually has the opportunity to do it with 2 first-round picks, and he's gonna do it.
Yeah, it's just so tough because it's like, I mean, not that an abundance of receiver talent is a problem. You know what I mean? Like, that's a great issue to have. But also, you draft one of those guys up there so early, and it's like, George Pickens' money, is it even worth it now? Because how many targets are these guys getting in the game? CD's obviously the number 1. George is going to be the number 2, and you have this third guy who I guess is not NFL ready. He's not proven necessarily, but that's a first-round wide receiver talent that's projected to be one of those kind of guys.
Do you remember this last year? And I'm blanking on the team. I'd have to look it up. I believe it was with the Seahawks. First round. So I'm looking this up. I believe in the NFL draft last year there was a trade, of 2025. Last year there was a trade, and I believe, and I could be wrong. You can tell me otherwise. But I believe a team. Yes, I believe it was like the Falcons and Rams. I might be making this up. It might be a couple years ago. But there was an under-the-table deal, and come at me after this, and I'll tell you the entire deal that I'm talking about, because I'm doing this off the fly. But there was an under-the-table deal, and I want to say it was like Seahawks Rams, but basically there was a free agent that moved from one side to the other after being cut by said team. And I don't think it was this last year. Like Cooper Kupp feels the mind, but I don't think it was this last year. So, but. It's like a player was cut, signed immediately with the new team, and then an under-the-table deal happened where it's like basically that team moved back 4 first-round picks with the other team that got the new player, but then traded future thirds in a future draft, and the reasoning behind it was like, oh, why'd you do that? It's like, oh, because I felt like our third might be better, and that's how everyone just kind of put it to bed. It was 100% like the under-the-table move. Yeah. That is the only way I see George Pickens leaving, is if for some reason, right, you have again, we'll talk, they don't have first round picks, so that doesn't work. But I was going to say, the Green Bay Packers, right? If they come in and they say, hey, we really want George Pickens, and the Cowboys say, cool, well, give us your 2nd round pick this year, and we'll give you our 3rd, and then we'll do a future 2nd round pick swap in 3 years. Right? And it's and that's just under the table. We let him walk. But that those are so few and far between, and they're so shady that it's the instant investigation. But
yeah.
All that being said, it's that's the only way I see Pickens leaving, and I don't see him playing on the franchise tag. You have put yourself in a position where, yeah, it feels like Jerry's going to try to do every negotiation tactic that he can, and even do that at the cost.
And that works so well for him.
Right? Do that at the cost of a top 15 first-round pick. And not saying that the wide receiver they draft is going to be bad, but I do think that's where they're going to end up.
If they can get their hands on a Tyson, yeah, that's a really good pick. But also the smart thing is, hey, that defense has got some holes. Maybe one of those edge rushers falls. If Caleb Downs is sitting there at 12 and you don't draft Caleb Downs, you're crazy. It's just one of those things where it's take the best player available. Don't take the flashy. And maybe it's the wide receiver is the best available, but in the first round, nothing's guaranteed ever. Just take the best player, and you can. So who knows? Who knows? But
best defense is offense, man.
Right. Yeah. I mean, hey, 3 great wide receivers. That's never a problem to have, and Dak can certainly sling it around to them if he wants to. So.
Yeah, it'd be. I mean, honestly, yeah, it's a luxury to have one. Just ask the Packers. So
Christian Watson, Matthew Golden, they're coming on. They're elite, man. Jaden Reed, he's awesome.
Yeah. Hey, has anyone hit 1,000 yards on a season of those 3 guys you just?
They don't need to, but they will next year. All 3 of them. All 3 of them. 1,000 yards.
They don't need to is crazy. They don't need to. Yeah.
They don't need to. We're a team, Brayden. That's team mantra. Team. We don't care about stats. Team win. Right? That's what we care about.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Team first round.
We also talked about potentially looking at going 5 picks at a time in the first round. I don't know if you want to just jump to that.
Yeah,
too.
let's jump over to the draft and then we'll run back to free agency. For those that are confused by the hodgepodge of back and forth, we're gonna end up at quarterback free agency.
Yeah, we tend to do this without Freddie. We're just all over the board.
We're free form, guys. We're we're just chilling. We're 2 guys having fun.
Fans. Come on, man.
Yeah, we're 2 guys having fun 2 blocks away. And yet we're doing this online.
We should never film this in the same room ever.
Definitely, and never. It'd be awful. So, anyways, yeah, let's jump to the draft, man. Let's jump to the draft. You sure you don't want to jump to the NBA right in between this and then go?
That's tempting.
No, let's jump over to the draft. So, top 5 draft picks, man. Alright, so I'm gonna be real with you. I'm gonna give you my full thoughts first. I genuinely I don't know if I could be less excited about this draft, dude. This is it's a terrible. Of course, this is the one the Cowboys have 2 picks in, man. Of course, this is the one because this is genuinely we talked about Trinidad Shameless, offline a little bit, talking, going back to college, going back to Ole Miss.
If he was here, it would be exciting.
Sure. No, not saying that he'd be a top, 5 pick, but it reminds me so much of that Kenny Pickett draft. Not saying that Fernando Mendoza is the Kenny Pickett, of this. He's better than that. He is better, in my opinion, than, Cam Ward. He's better than as far as the creme de la creme, he is probably one of the better prospects that we've seen in, compared to last year, is what I'll say. However, after that, it just feels gross, dude. Jeremiah Love, okay, how well do you love him, huh? Everyone calls him a generational running back. Well, that's what we called Genty last year, and Genty was fine.
He was fine. But the quarterback play also sucked, so it's really hard,
Sure, but yeah, let's say he goes to New Orleans. Are you really depending on Tyler Shuck to elevate, to take the next step, or to be just a Davis Mills, right? That's where I see, everyone's hopping on the Shuck train, and I don't say he's a bad quarterback. I also don't think Davis Mills is a bad quarterback, but they are what they are, and so it's the same thing. I don't think that the Saints are ready to elevate with Jeremiah Love. Similarly, again, creme de la creme, I think, with the Raiders, we talked about this a little bit on our walk last week. It's I think the Raiders are weirdly set up with an offensive head coach, with Brock Bowers, with Ashton Genty, now with Mendoza. If they can get even a semblance of a line and some wide receiver, right? It doesn't have to be the George Pickens. It doesn't have to be Jordan Tyson. You don't have to trade up and get a guy like that. It doesn't, it could be one of those kind of lower end guys that everyone's kind of looking at possibly going in the 3rd round, or not 3rd round, end of the 1st, Denzel Boston, or, you could see some of those guys, and it's maybe if they fall, or maybe if you trade up, you get one of those guys, or you sign a guy like I'm blanking on wide receiver free agents right now. There's not many. There's not.
Well, I mean, there's some big ones. Mike Evans is out there, like
Sure.
I don't know if he would go there, but like there's some big ones that could be moved.
Sure, you get one guy like that. Like, I feel like they are kind of set up to give him a decent environment. His hardest contest is the fact that he's just in a division with tough defenses.
Yeah, very.
And so, but, I do think that, like, trial by fire on him, too. If he shows out or even shows 220 yards passing against those defenses, he's going to be a lot better year 2. Like, I think you're going to be setting a good route for him. So, first 5 picks, again, not excited, dude. Not excited at all. Like, next year's draft is so much better.
Well, it's because the quarterback class is going to be way different. It's going to look crazy, right?
Well,
it's Mendoza, it's Ty Simpson, and then it's like, all right,
No, you know what it is? It's Mendoza.
Fair, yeah.
You can tell me Ty Simpson is... No, Ty Simpson right now is this year's Will Levis, this year's Malik
Someone's going to
Willis.
reach on him, I think.
Sure, but I think he's going to fall a lot farther than a lot of these, like, experts feel. I feel like after the combine, these like, mock drafters, these experts are going to sit there and go, oh, he's going to go number 14, or he's going to go, oh, maybe, someone's going to talk themselves in. Maybe he goes up to number 9, like, top 10 pick, because someone needs a quarterback. The Dolphins, dude. The Dolphins need a quarterback, right? Someone's going to talk themselves in because, and we'll get to this, in quarterback free agency, there will be a musical chair that's not filled.
And it's way better to just honestly have a stopgap year, considering next year's draft.
Correct.
And that's where these old guys for a year, you know?
Yep. That's exactly where I was going. Like, Jacoby Brissett should make bank this offseason because Kirk Cousins should make bank on a 1-year deal because of how good next year's draft is. Or like a 2-year deal that you have an option on because then you can have him maybe be a mentor for like a younger guy, right? So because of how good next year's quarterback class is going to be, because of how good next year's wide receiver class is supposed to be, because of, I mean, like the running back class is supposed to be a little bit better. There's not really a tight end next year yet, but that always kind of comes out of the woodworks. Like Kenyon Sadiq was kind of talked about last year, but he wasn't in the same air that he is right now, right? So we always have going into like years, like 3 to 4 to 5 players that you can be like, yes, that's going to be a stud. And going into next year, we probably have like 12 to 13 that I could like look at genuinely, and most of them, again, are quarterbacks. And I think you're going to see teams be so willing to try to trade out of this class.
Yeah, for sure.
And so I would not be surprised if the Jets try to trade that first-round pick.
I mean, it could be like teams that like are frankly competitive and they don't need the quarterback. You know, obviously the Packers don't have their first round pick next year either, but a team like maybe the Bills or someone who's got a first round next year, it's like, hey, we're going to give you our first round next year and maybe a third on top of that to trade up and get one of these just elite defensive studs.
Yeah.
That's totally possible.
Yeah, I mean, like, but it's one of those things of like, I could see a team like the Giants try to move back. I could see a team like the Browns. I'm talking more elite picks.
Mm-hmm.
Try to move back. I'm not saying they're going to succeed, but try to move back for the sake of just being like, hey, can I get an extra second next year? Yeah, you know what? I'll move from like, and honestly, the Cowboys might be the culprit in this. Mm-hmm. If you look at like Kansas City at pick 9. And they go, hey, I want a second-round pick next year. Okay, cool. Cowboys say, hey, well, of course we don't have a. Did we? I'm trying to think of what all we gave for Quinn Williams. It was 1 first and 2 seconds. So no. But we have a third, right? So it's like, but even that, right? It's like to move back from 9 to 12. Cool. Yeah, we'll throw you a third. But where in previous years that might have been a higher asking price, I don't think the asking price is going to be that high now.
Yeah.
Just because of how.
That's fair. That's fair. I agree.
And of course, so let's get excited. Let's talk about it.
Let's actually get to the players, right? I mean, first overall is Mendoza, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, it's a lock. The one, and you've already said a lot on this and what he's surrounded with. I do think he gets a huge benefit like he did at Indiana. The reason they won is because they were a great team and they had a great coach, and he was good enough, and he was even better than good enough. So with someone like a Tom Brady who clearly is in love with the guy, and then a really great coach now that, or hypothetically, right? We'll see how he is as a head coach, but he's going to be set up for enough success. We'll know, by Thanksgiving, are you good enough to be in the NFL? I don't want to write a book on him maybe by week 11, but that should be enough time to really see something out of him, I think, given what he's going to get handed first.
Yeah, I'd agree with that. What do you thinking the Jets are going that pick 2? You think they try to go? I mean, they're not going quarterback. They can't.
No. I think with the Jets, you bring back Justin Fields for a year, and then I think you have him for 2 more years, actually. But I think you have an out after next year, if I remember correctly.
Yeah,
plus, you have a bunch of random free agent quarterbacks. Don't get a quarterback this year if you're the Jets. Go get who is the best player in this draft is Avril Reese, or Arvil Reese rather. That is the best player in this draft, linebacker from Ohio State. Ohio State's defense was ridiculous. They were favored for a reason up until they got beat by Miami. Honestly, miraculously, in my opinion, it came out of nowhere. And so, go get the best player. He is going to transform that defense. If it's the mindset of the Jets, if it's the coach, just go get the best player on the board. And he might be the best player in the draft.
Would you consider drafting offense here at all if you're the Jets? There's not really much, right? There's you can get a tackle. You can get unless you are in love with Carnell Tate, in my opinion. Okay. Unless you truly think he is just this difference maker at wide receiver. And he's great. He's really good, don't get me wrong. You're missing the opportunity. You basically have the 101 in my opinion if you're the Jets. Because the Raiders are obviously going quarterback. But if no one was going quarterback at the top of the draft, he is the player that everybody is taking first. You know what I mean? Yep. And so go get that linebacker from Ohio. Don't consider anybody else. I mean, I know it's not a premier position necessarily, but he is the best football player on the board. And question for you.
Yeah.
You're getting a phone call. You're the Jets GM. I'm sorry you have that job. And
okay, I'm getting millions of dollars all the same.
You're getting that phone call from Tennessee at 4. Tennessee trying to shore up their offensive line for Cam Ward. Mm-hmm. Saleh's already said that his whole job is to make sure he's not Superman. And you're trying to shore up that offensive line. Yes, there's multiple offensive guys, but you can get I can't say his last name, the junior offensive tackle from Miami, Francis.
Francis.
Yeah. And then you got Spencer Fano with Utah, and right, so you have some guys that you can kind of rely on.
Yeah.
Would you? And you got to get creative with this.
Mm-hmm.
Breece Hall, technically off contract right now.
Yes.
However, franchise tagged and flipped.
Okay.
And the 102 for the 104 and a first-round pick next year. Would you take it on either side?
On either side? Okay, so...
Knowing that you're getting the Titans' first-round pick, right? So that's the other thing, and the 104. So you're basically doing Breece Hall for a, small pick downgrade, knowing that you can probably still get your guy at 104, considering you got Cardinals at 103, and Cardinals are probably going to want to take an offensive lineman as well.
That's tough. I will say, a bit of an
Or you can get Jeremiah Love at 104 if you really want to. That's more palatable. I wouldn't do it, but you still can, right? It's palatable enough that you can sit there and go, we have our guy to replace Breece. We got an extra first-round pick next year. We didn't lose anything in this deal.
No, I mean, if I'm the Jets, honestly, I don't think you don't reach for Jeremiah Love. I don't think that's necessary. I think you're getting an overpay for Breece Hall, just a little bit. I don't think Breece Hall is worth a first-round pick like that, and it's kind of what it translates to.
I agree.
And so if you're the Jets, maybe, because you can still get, a really great defensive player. I think the Jets just have to take whoever's, best available. Their offensive line is fine. It's not magical. It's kind of, or it's pretty bad. I can't remember. I know Cardinals obviously need the work, and I know the Titans need the work. I don't know if the Titans go there, and we'll get to that. But if I'm the Jets, I wouldn't mind doing it, just because you're capitalizing on, frankly, a running back that should just be a free agent. Like why not?
I mean, to me, the reason why, again, obviously that's a lot for the Titans to give. I think I do that as the Titans for the reason that two things. You move off of, you get a player that can help your offense now. And let's be real, given track records, if there was ever a head coach to get fired after 1 year this next year, it's Saleh. Again, if Saleh goes out there and absolutely drops the ball, goes 2-15, he's out, Dable's out, right? Those guys probably don't coach next year in an actual official coordinator position either. They are out. It's a big risk. So I think they gotta act fast. Same thing with Cam Ward if he ends up going the whole Bryce Young way, right? It's if he doesn't elevate his game this year, you're automatically looking at a guy that you're seriously considering a bust.
Yeah.
At a number one pick. So I think as the Titans, you're pushing in. You're also able, because you have the guard from Penn State, and again, not great with names, so I'm not even going to try. I can give you the first name. I just had it. Oh, no, I can't give you the first name, actually. Olive Vega. There we go. That's
right.
Sure, you have the guard from Penn State, and some people really like him, but it's if you don't fix that offense, if you don't fix that offense fast, then you're kind of in a position where everyone's losing their job and we're restarting. We're starting over. Where I feel like the Jets have this kind of built-in, hey, we're too far gone, man. We're going to suck, okay? We're going to be awful. So let's build for 2027. Let's go get one of those top quarterbacks and a first-round pick to play with, because if the Titans are awful, then by gosh, by golly, by gee, we've gotten... we've essentially done what the Bears did, and we've gotten the number one overall pick without having earned it, right? So, again, I think it's one of those things that, it's a lot for the Titans to give up.
That's the thing, it's a lot. I think if you're the Titans, more than anything, it's you're giving up the potential to draft one of those quarterbacks by giving up a first-round pick. So that first-round pick next year, that's a lot. So I think if you really want to structure that deal in a fair market, attaching maybe a second or 2/3 or something, that feels way more appropriate. But yeah, if you're the Jets, I think you do that any day of the week. That being said, I don't think the Jets trade out of the pick, and I think they take Arvo Reese.
Oh yeah. Well, here's what I will say. There've been, I'm doing some quick research on the spot because we're off the rails, man. We're just chatting. Yeah. So it's been 50 years since the team picking third overall moved in the top spot. We're not talking about the top spot, we're talking about the second spot. However, to look at some comparable picks, to look at some what it costs, right?
What did the Jags get last year? Or what did the Jags have to give up, rather? Because that feels very comparable to me.
The Jags had to give up their first-round pick this year.
Yep.
Matt, let's look up Jaguars Travis Hunter trade.
Yeah.
That's actually very
insane.
It was 2 to 5, yeah. So they gave up the 5th overall pick, a second-round pick that same year, which was the 36th overall pick, a 4th-round pick that year, and a 2026 first-round pick.
Wow. Holy fleece.
What I'm saying is, if you sit there as the Titans and you're given an opportunity to get a player and only give up one first-round pick, in comparison, it's a lot better deal.
Yeah, I mean, I think that just becomes an extreme... It's a cost evaluation because, again, at the end of the day, you're talking about the best player in this draft should be going there. And if he really gets to fall to 4,
Also, I'm calling right now. No, Mendoza to me is actually the best player in the draft.
You think Mendoza?
One of the rare times a quarterback is genuinely the best player in the draft.
No, I still think it's Arvo Reese, man. That guy's a monster. Ohio State's defense was ridiculous. That's just tough. I don't know. if you're the Jets, you do that any day. You get your guy and a bunch of other things. Sure. If you're the Titans, are you really going to give the Jets that kind of ammunition? You guys are competing for the worst franchises in football, and you want to do that? I don't know.
And so here's the reason why I think, and again, sorry, we've harped on this one for a while, but here's the reason why I think the Titans also would do it. Assuming the sky doesn't fall, they have their quarterback.
Fair.
And what is next year strong in? Quarterbacks.
Quarterback.
So maybe, it's like, look, if we can build around our guy right now and get 5 steps closer to being a contender, I'm doing it.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, counter argument is next year, if you suck and you really believe in Cam Ward, you are going to have any player you want in the top 10. Assuming you know what I mean? Because quarterbacks are going to go.
And my argument goes back to next year if you suck, again, of all the coaches, I don't think Saleh's given the benefit of the doubt.
No, that's super fair. So,
like again, as a coach who's sitting there knowing he does not have a very long leash, and I could be wrong. I know nothing about what's on the inside of that organization. Otherwise, other than the fact that they hired all bald coaches.
Yeah.
So besides the fact that they're trying to do some sort of reflective glare against the sky cam and really try to throw off any Bill Belichick trying to spy on their teams type of moment, right? That's what that is, right? It's all just about the reflective glare off the top of their heads, blinding anybody from stealing their signs. No, beyond that, I don't know anything about there. So for all I know, Saleh could have the longest leash possible, but given his track record. Giving the track record of coaches that have had the chance before and then come in, it's like it is a piss or run away, right? It's like you got to do it.
Totally.
So going over to the Cardinals pick 3. Again, I already kind of said it. I think you're going, think you're going for an offensive lineman here. I don't, and again, right? Combine's going to tell us everything. Is there a world, and I'll keep bringing up his name, is there a world you go running back here?
There's a world the Cardinals go running back. I don't think they need it. I mean, obviously, I don't think Trey Benson is a great powerhouse workhorse back like that, and I think James Conner, when we reach running back free agency, we'll get the James Conner. Something that the Cardinals do have in their back pocket is an ability to trade Kyler Murray. So that's going to be interesting to watch with them in this draft. It's not really affecting the 3rd pick right now, right? That's not a huge thing. But you could go running back. You could. But your offensive line last year was 25th, 26th. It was one of the worst in the league. And obviously I think the Bears have shown in free agency it's really possible to rebuild your line. That's really difficult, though, because everybody's competing after those guys. If you can get the best tackle in the draft and just develop him and really, make sure that's going to work, and I think it's Mike LaFleur, right? Yeah, Mike LaFleur.
Yeah.
You're going to get a quarterback next year, probably, if you're Mike LaFleur. Start building the pieces. And maybe running back isn't a bad way to go. But also, maybe go get someone like a Breece Hall. Maybe look at other free agent running backs, and then that's how you can develop that position. That's a lot easier to fill than an entire line. But you can draft a really great lineman.
I do think you're going to have I think James Conner's going to go off into the sunset. Love the guy. Maybe sign with the Giants as a 3rd string or a backup, right? It's and just be a goal line guy. But maybe go back to the Steelers, right? And kind of replace the Kenny Gainwell role and do that. But I do think I could see, and again, we'll get to them in free agency on a different episode, with running backs, but I could see them get a guy kind of again, not a high build name guy, but Isaiah Pacheco, right? A guy that is kind of, not the same he used to be, and maybe has some high upside, but to just pair with Trey Benson, right? And kind of again, I think LaFleur has a little bit of that longer leash, so you can kind of take a year and kind of do a rebuilding year and really just kind of stretch it. So I agree. I would say we are nearing bust territory on Marvin Harrison.
It's getting close. It's tough because next year's quarterback play might not be any better, and so that's tough.
And you saw, and it did not help how well Michael Wilson did.
Michael Wilson did super well. Trey McBride never dropped off.
Yep.
Why can't you do the same things they're doing? Is it a skill set issue? Was it a play calling issue? Or is it that you're just not as great as we thought you were? That's tough.
And so he gives me, you're going to hate that I say this, he gives me very big, like, it's the same, he's essentially the same guy that Rome Odunze is, where it's like, you cannot catch the ball. Like, you just cannot catch. There's some stat, again, jumping teams for a second. There's some stats like Odunze didn't have more than 3 catches since week 11, and it's that kind of like.
I will, in defense of Rome, dear God, that quarterback is just not accurate. Caleb Williams is not accurate. It's not like all these receivers are dropping.
You're comparing
balls.
Caleb Williams to Jacoby Brissett though. Like
Sure.
Brissett's good, but like.
I would argue he's more accurate than Caleb Williams, though.
Sure, maybe, but he was also throwing like 40 times a game, and still MHJ can't do anything, right? It's like these other guys can do things. Where I would wonder is again, the strength of this class to me is a little bit of like that defensive linebacking position, like maybe the edge rushers, maybe the safeties. Not really a corner. There's some corners, but not really, and especially the wide receiver. Is there a world? Again, I'm going to keep asking that this entire time. Is there a world you go wide receiver? I don't think so with Michael Wilson's resurgence, but...
Yeah, it's a bit of a reach for the Cardinals. It's just not what they need. It's not what's going to make them great. It's not what's going to give them a good foundation. So it's kind of a Cowboys move to do that, right? You're kind of just picking the fancy car, but the engine sucks, you know?
Yeah.
Go get a good engine. And then worry about building the body, right? And so
it's also not within that division to do it. I think that's also a very big divisional thing for them. Where it's like no. I mean, you look at all those receiver rooms, and it's like, with the exception of the Rams, who of course, I mean, so JSN right didn't have a great rookie year, and then of course blew up, right? Emerald City route artist went crazy, but then you have like Puka's the best receiver in that division, probably. Maybe you could argue JSN, right? Either of them.
Yeah, that's a coin flip.
Yep, and one was written off after his rookie year. Was not like, and he wasn't a top 10 pick. You know, he was a first round pick, but wasn't a top 10 pick. And then the other one was a very late round pick. So it came out of nowhere. So you look at it and you're like, okay, maybe the Rams did the wide receiver thing before. They may not want to get right back into that kind of relationship. I get that. Yeah, I think your move is offensive line. The offense needs help in a big way. The defense is not bad.
It's not bad.
And so, yeah. Moving over to the Titans, man, at pick 4.
And so here's the interesting thing about the Titans. You were talking about how, Trey would get a tackle. I don't even think they would take a tackle anyway. I think Robert Saleh takes one of the edge players. It's either David Bailey from Texas Tech or Ruben Bain Jr. from Miami. I think he goes and gets the next best thing on defense compared to Arvel Reese. And it's with top 10 picks. It's best player available. Get the best football player you can. They change franchises. Not all the time, but it's like that's kind of the mentality when you have that kind of pick. If you want to pick for need, trade back. You'll find need in the back, and so
so my pick on this is the fact that they're just going to trade. Genuinely,
probably, I think they can get more.
This is a trade back. I mean, even just trade back to the 6th pick with the Browns, or trade to pick number 8 with the Saints. A trade back. I think they're going to go offensive line if they do this. If they take the pick, I think they need a wide receiver more. And I think it's too early to take one.
Just a little bit. And, I mean, could you imagine if the Browns got one of these edge rushers and then they had Myles Garrett? That would be nasty.
Exactly where my brain was going with trading with the Browns. Where it's like, I think if you're the Browns, you sit there and you go, look, our offense, mid. Not great.
Defense,
our defense is amazing already. Let's lean into it.
Myles Garrett, oh yeah.
Let's lean into it. We know our strength, and we know that our division's kind of in shambles right now. This is a legitimate year that, a lot has to go right for the offense to work with the Browns.
Yeah.
and this pick's not going to change anything. Not much has to go right for the Browns defense to get even better, and this pick would change it in a big way. I think it would be guaranteed. Like, it would feel to me the same kind of excitement that the Packers did when they got Micah Parsons. Obviously, you're not getting the immediate player, but you were a better defense before it, right? So it's like the Packers had a better defense than the Browns had a better defense than the Packers did at the time of the trade, and that excitement going into the year being like, this could be a top 3 defense. I think you look at the Browns and you go, oh, dude, we may have to score 1 touchdown every week, and we might win. We might win 13-7 every week because we kick 2 field goals and score a touchdown. And maybe we don't even score the touchdown. Maybe the defense does, right? So I agree. I think the Titans trade out of this pick. I think they one of those defensive linemen fall through the cracks, and I think the Browns move up. However, the price is not a pick next year. It would be a second-round pick this year and then a second-round pick next year. Maybe you throw in a guy like I don't know if he's still on contract. Again, we haven't gotten to wide receivers on free agency yet, but like Jerry Jeudy or so, like a kind of a failed prospect guy, or
Isaiah Bond is going to blow up next year, dude. Trust.
Or you throw a guy like even Jerome. Well, no, Jerome Ford's a free agent, like Dylan Sampson or something like that. Like you throw a guy that's like more of a skill position guy over to the Titans, and then that 5th pick, dude, New York Giants. Where are you feeling?
So that's Harbaugh, right? So you got to go with the classic Harbaugh pick. I think the smart thing for the Giants to do is probably just shore up the offensive line, which feels on brand for him too. It's just get Spencer Fano from Utah, get like the best available guard, or he's a tackle actually.
Yep.
However, I think Caleb Downs is way too good to pass up. I think he could go this early, and I think he feels such like a Harbaugh pick. He really does. I mean, he is phenomenal, and Harbaugh loves his great safeties, and I'm not saying he's going to like come in and blow up the league, but on a Giants defense that's got a lot of like really interesting players, and they should be much better than they are, to add some kind of energy like that with Caleb Downs, and then just watching that transform. I mean, you're talking about the Browns defense, the Giants defense next year, and the reason why I think with Harbaugh that team could be really much better is just if you can get a really great defense and Jackson Dart just has to do his job and stay healthy, that's not a bad position to be in. And so I don't know if I pass up on Caleb Downs. I think he's just that good.
Except of what you just said. Hey, the Giants have a chance to be really good next year if Jackson Dart stays healthy. How do you help him stay healthy?
Tackle.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's just
I think
Caleb Downs is that good.
Look, I think that's your biggest thing is like offensive line is such a need for them, and you're sitting with 2 guys that you're kind of relying on, 3 guys actually that you're kind of relying on. Malik Neighbors, whose bone came off the leg basically. It's like
people are projecting Carnell Tate, and I just think that's too early. But
No, like I don't think they need a draft skill position, but what I'm saying is you have these guys, right? Malik Neighbors coming off health stuff. That's fine, doing whatever. Cam Skadbu coming off health stuff. Jackson Dart, everybody's talking about, needs to make sure he stays healthy because the way he plays, it's very aggressive. If you're relying on health in 3 positions on your offense, the one way to make sure your quarterback doesn't rush hospital balls, to make sure that your running back doesn't get absolutely wrecked, to make sure that your quarterback doesn't get blindside sacked, offensive line.
I mean, and that's where the problems were. It's when he got sacked. Those were the ones. Honestly, his running, he slide. You know what I mean? But that's not even when I was so much worried about Jackson Dart when I watched him. When he got sacked, I was like, oh, that's like not Tua level, but oh my God, that's rough. You didn't see that coming. That's gonna take it out of you. And so he only had the 1 concussion that took him out, I think, in the year. He didn't start a lot of the year anyway. I think he started a lot is subjective, right? He started most of the year. But I think, like, their
right tackle's leaving in free agency, too.
That's true. Maybe if I'm the Giants, I try to tackle offensive line in free agency instead. That's where I might go from here, because I just think Caleb Downs is the best player on the board. I think he's that good. I think he's a great safety from Ohio. And when you look at Ohio's defense, I mean, nobody could score a point on Ohio. Texas was the most successful team against Ohio in the first 10 weeks of the season. I mean, it was ridiculous. You couldn't score on Ohio at all. And that was a huge part of it. And so I think maybe best player available. But those are the top 5 picks. We can do the next 5. It gets more interesting as we go. It's a little bit of a boring draft, so we can move off of it into a more interesting topic. But
yeah, it gets more interesting. Is there any like big? Again, we don't have to go pick by pick. Is there any big change you see going into like pick 10? Like, is there anybody? What team do you think, first of all, that like has the biggest potential to either trade back or trade up from this position? And is there any like big surprise pick? I mean, I would say my big surprise pick. I don't even know if it's a big surprise, but I think the Chiefs. I mean, go wide receiver here. I don't think that's a surprise.
I think that's a surprise to me because everyone wants them to go running back.
No, think you go wide receiver here. And only maybe because I would not be surprised if at 6 or 7 or 8, Jeremiah Love's actually off the board already.
That is possible. I guess for the Chiefs, it really depends on because they're 9. So it depends on what they address in free agency, right? If they go and get a wide receiver, they should go try to find a running back. And if you're that worried about Love going off the board, go get – you're the Chiefs. You are never going to be in this position again. If you really want to change and get one of those, like the best running back off the board, who is probably going to go top 10 anyway, go move up and grab him for Patrick Mahomes.
I don't know.
What
like,
are first-round picks to you if you're the Chiefs? What are they to you?
You got the Saints right in front of you, and the Saints feel like that team that's going to take them at 8. And so, yeah, like, you have to trade.
Dude, Conjure Miller, man. TCU legend. He's gonna be Alvin Kamara's replacement.
Yeah, pardon me while I throw up, man.
No, I mean, if I'm the Chiefs and I'm like, so, or if you, a counter argument is they address running back in free agency. They go find Breece Hall. They go fix their running back room. Cowboys did it. It's possible. A lot of teams do it, right? And so that could be the change. Now, if they go wide receiver, rooms get a little crowded, in my opinion. You know, who do you draft and why?
So who's there? Tell me who's there.
I mean, you got Rashee.
Do you?
Yeah, you have Rashee Rice.
Do you?
Yeah, he's gonna get suspended for a little bit, but he'll be back.
There's a world he gets suspended the whole year, man. Like commissioner exempt list, like Deshaun Watson level.
We'll see. It's a bit of a tough case. It was bad. What happened?
His head is so far up his derriere, dude. Like, that's just he walks around with cheeks on his shoulders, dude. Like, that's it. And I genuinely, and again, I'm a big Xavier Worthy guy. I love Xavier Worthy, but
I don't think he's good enough to be like that number 1 though.
He's Matthew Golden. He's a 3. Like, he is a gadget slot guy. If he can really, maybe get you some big chunk plays, that's great. Yeah, sure. Maybe they sign Tyreek Hill in free agency. That's great too. But that's a 1 year. That's a 1 year Band-Aid. I think if you can get a guy
really back for the beginning of the year.
Yeah, right. Exactly. So it's I think if you can get a guy again, I want the Cowboys or not want. I think the Cowboys probably try to go his way. But if you can get a guy like Jordan Tyson at number 9, then it's you do it. Right?
I think it depends on the Cardinal Tate situation. I mean, he probably is off the board already, but if you're the Chiefs and you can get him, you probably get the best offensive player, skill position player you can, and then work on the other side of that in free agency, running back, wide receiver, right? You're not getting one of these guys again if you're Patrick Mahomes, and if you really, really, really love a guy, trade your first-round pick next year and get a couple thirds back or something in the meantime, but you think you're going to go to the Super Bowl. That's pick number 32 to you. Who cares? And everybody's going to hate it, but you're never going to be in this position again. Because here's the big thing. I don't know if they can trade up because I don't know if teams are going to want them to be able to go there, right? So that's a whole other factor.
Yeah, and genuinely, I will say I see them trading up at the end of the first, maybe utilizing that first-round pick next year, maybe getting maybe not even having to trade their second-round pick, but next year's first for a guy like Kenyon Sadiq, right? So for a tight end to replace Travis Kelce. However, I would agree with you, dude. But is there any surprise pick that you see? Any surprise move? Any surprise trade? Anything you see?
Any surprises? No, I think that a couple players people might fall in love with could go maybe just super early. Like Cassius Howell might just jump up there. Like it's possible from A&M. I think the what's his name from Georgia, C.J. Allen, the linebacker. That's going to be interesting. He had a really good season. I think like it's possible. He's like projected around top 20. Could he also have maybe a really good pro day combine, whatever he's doing? Some of these defensive guys could switch. They're a little interchangeable. The biggest surprises are going to be what happens at quarterback. Does someone trade up for Ty Simpson? Because that's and we can get. I mean, honestly, jump over to rookie QBs. We're going to tackle that. Maybe now's the time because Mendoza's going 1. And after that, it's Ty Simpson and where he lands. Like, do this. He feels like a Steeler or a Ram or a Cardinal to me. Like teams that could have a stopgap for a year and he could sit behind. That's what he feels like to me.
Yeah, I mean, the unfortunate matter is that he probably gets drafted first round.
Yeah.
By a team that trades up. Late first round. I don't know how to say this in the weirdest way. I almost prefer drafting a top of the second round quarterback like Nussmeier than I do an end of the first round quarterback like Ty Simpson.
Agreed.
Right?
They're the same player to me.
Same player.
I mean, and Nussmeier was supposed to be like the top prospect this year. He had some injuries and problems, but in 2024 he was phenomenal. He was supposed to be the guy this year. LSU was supposed to be great.
Yeah.
And so
now, it could be a Jackson Dart situation again where it's like no one was really super high on Dart as when they drafted him, and everyone was like, okay, maybe, like that could be kind of fun, and then it turns around, and now everyone's, oh, he's the next guy, and of course, like, we'll see what happens. But if he goes to the Steelers, which I think that's probably what happens, you're looking at he'll probably sit for a year if Rodgers comes back. Mm-hmm. And then do you trust Mike McCarthy to genuinely bring along a young quarterback that doesn't really have it? I mean, like,
no. I mean, and this is why Mike McCarthy was like the worst hire. It just you talk about Robert Saleh having a short shelf life. Mike McCarthy, if I'm the Steelers, like, it just didn't make any sense. You're the Steelers. You have coaches for a long time. You trust these coaches, and you chose Mike McCarthy.
Yeah,
he's not bringing a guy up like that. He's not a quarterback whisperer to me. He's not. He benefits from quarterbacks. He is not the guy that's gonna get him along.
No. The best thing that could happen for the Steelers is the Miami Dolphins. So, and we can even transition this into the free agent quarterbacks if we want to do that. Miami Dolphins, I genuinely think, Kyler Murray, think he's going to be a cut. Think Tua, going to be a cut. I don't think they're going to get any trade partners.
Any trade.
Nope,
so, I mean, they're cuts then, because
right?
There's no way they're on their teams next year.
They're not on their team. So I think you see like Miami cut Tua and then fall in love with Ty Simpson.
Sure.
And if that happens, I mean, I see a guy who's like, maybe they don't pick him at their first pick, obviously, but maybe they trade up and pick him at like 22,
maybe.
Right? Or 23.
I think maybe I just give Miami too much credit. I think they do move off of Tua. That contract's just that's a challenge. I think you're right, and not many people are going to trade for that contract. And same with Kyler. That's a super fair point. I think if you are Miami and you look at next year and you look at the 2026 quarterback class, you wait. You get a guy, take a shot at like Malik Willis or maybe a Kirk, just anybody for a year. Maybe it's got to give Jeff Hafley more credit. I think he's a really smart guy. I think he's going to be a good coach. And so if I'm Miami, if I'm any of these teams, that's what I do, right? I want to wait till next year, but these quarterbacks will get taken. Someone's going to take them, and do you need to pay the premium price when they might fall to you in the second round?
Well, and that's where I sit there and I go, I feel like if the Steelers then, like, Nussmeier's there, top of the second, and the Steelers go and draft him, I actually feel weirdly better about that, where I'm sitting there and I'm like, you know what? Like,
agreed, yeah.
Because
totally. You're
also sitting there and you're like, he can sit for the whole year if you really do that.
And you know what? If it doesn't
he might
work,
never play.
If it doesn't work, fine.
Yep.
It's a second round pick. That's a little challenging, but you didn't do anything drastic to ruin your future to go get him. It's okay.
it's the Tyler Shuck of it all, right? It's like, look, or the Andy Dalton back in the day, right? Where it's like, look, he, if he doesn't work out, he doesn't work out.
That being said, I think Simpson gets taken round 1. I think one of the teams is going to like him enough. I think he's going to do well. I think he's playing at the combine. I know Mendoza's not. I'm pretty sure Ty Simpson's going to the combine. I think he might. I mean, granted, if he sucks, then we're having a whole other conversation. But because he might look the best there, it's possible that one of these teams really falls in love with him. I think, though, if you're a team like the Rams, that's not a bad idea. He gets to sit behind Matthew Stafford. It's better than the alternative, which is, I think Beck, Aller, and Klubnik are all day 3 picks, and I don't know if they're going to work out that well anyway. Maybe if you're the Rams, you take them. Nussmeier's better, and then Simpson's the best out of all of those. I think if you're the Rams and you are Matthew Stafford has 1 more year, that's where you can go with it. You can go ahead and take one of them late first round if you really want, or trade into the top, because they need a contingency plan eventually,
Yeah, it does feel a little... So, Rams, to me, it feels like they'd be better served to just go Jimmy Garoppolo again, man. To just bring back another old head and sit there. Because, also, okay, yeah. What about the Rams right now screams we might be rebuilding soon, besides the fact that Matthew Stafford's that old? Coming off of an MVP, but it sits there and goes, oh, wait, so if Matthew Stafford gets hurt, are we trusting Ty Simpson? Are we trusting Nussmeier? Are we trusting...
It's better than Stenson Bennett.
Sure, but is it better than Jimmy G?
Maybe not.
Maybe. Jimmy G is the same. He's not the same quarterback as Matthew Stafford, obviously. He is the same build, though, and he has the experience. Jimmy G is a guy that's if Matthew Stafford goes down in week 4 and the Rams somehow tread water into the playoffs... You look at what Mac Jones did to his stock this year, and yeah, Jimmy G's older, but all of a sudden, someone's going to look at Jimmy G and go, dude, that guy has experience, he's been to a Super Bowl, I can trust him, I'm going to throw him a 3-year, $30 million deal just so he can sit on the bench, or maybe start, the beginning and mentor my new quarterback, right? It's this is a guy that they, I would feel as a franchise, as much as I don't want him to start, I feel a lot better having him on my bench than I do Ty Simpson.
No,
if I'm the Rams, if I'm a team that's actively contending to win this year.
No, that's super fair. It's just I think these quarterbacks feel so gross. None of them feel like franchise guys yet, and so it's just you're in this position where maybe if you're the Jets, if you can get him at a reasonable price, fine. If you're the Colts and you're unsure about what Daniel Jones, they're going to have to make a decision on that anyway, and I think they're going to re-sign him, frankly. So it's do you want to waste that pick? I don't know. The Steelers, the Rams, and the Cardinals all feel like they all have, massive quarterback questions while also not having the... It's all those Miamis. It's all of these teams where it's you don't have to do it this year. You could try to wait a year, but just understand next year it's going to be a lot harder to get up there, and it's going to be a lot harder to get those guys. You want Arch Manning, you're going to need to pay a lot. You want Shambles, you want Moore, you want any of these guys, it's going to be hard to get them. And so
question for you. 2nd round pick comes around.
Mm-hmm.
Nussmeier's still on the board.
Yep.
And the Washington Commanders come up.
Oh.
Imagining that Mariota's gone in free agency.
Sure.
And you didn't really address it. Do you make the swing knowing that it's going to send a message of how you trust Jaden Daniels?
No, I don't. I don't at all. I don't think Jaden Daniels, there were so many questions about him coming out of college on, can he stay healthy? Is he big enough for this league? And those were already there, and they still drafted him. And then he, lightning in a bottle, got to the NFC Championship game, right? That was ridiculous. I don't think, though, that it was a flash in the pan. I think what you're talking about is someone who you can build around. He's a franchise-type quarterback. Protect him, make sure he can stay healthy, and I think you're good. I think that Nussmeier he feels too much like someone you'd bring in to compete in camp. And that's that's an issue. If you're drafting a quarterback, go draft, frankly, Carson Beck in the 3rd round. Go get Aller. Go get someone who's like young and can back someone up. It's like, oh, this is going to be a great backup. It's kind of like how we did with Malik Willis on the Packers. We got him from Tennessee for a 7th round pick, and great backup to have. Young guy, understood the NFL a little bit.
Yeah.
Fine, go get him. But Jaden Daniels is you're in too big of a position, because if Jaden Daniels is on the open market right now, every top quarterback gone. In my opinion, I just think like you can't send that kind of message, especially not like a day 2 pick.
Yeah.
If you want to talk about day 3 pick, Carson Beck, sure. I think Carson Beck's gonna flop anyway. Another failed Georgia quarterback in the league. That's not a crazy sentence.
I don't think anyone's expecting him to be otherwise at this point. Like,
exactly.
He's fine. Like,
he's worse than fine. He's okay. He's mediocre. He's on a good day. He's mediocre.
He'll be a 6th round pick, and honestly, you can chalk it up to personality as well. Like,
oh my god, I'm not trying to be weird or anything here, but
exactly,
he's a weird
right?
guy.
Yeah. So like, they'll move him down. Honestly think Klubnik's probably gonna be a little bit higher on people's boards. I imagine him going on like 3rd or 4th round.
He was supposed to be really good too. It did not look good this season, and I don't know if that's like so much him as it, because he was Clemson, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like Dabo Swinney, does he even care anymore? You know what I mean? Like, he has so many problems. Clemson's really fallen off, and I wonder,
Cade to me is probably going to end up at like, honestly, if Arizona punts quarterback this year, ends up in Arizona, or it's like he'll be like a 3rd or 4th round pick by a team like that's kind of punted or goes to free agency and makes a move but doesn't make a big splashy one, like the Colts,
right?
Or even right. Funnily enough, by the way, I do think the Cowboys look at quarterback if Joe Milton, if they end up like trading him in the offseason or just let him kind of like do his thing.
Well, what's Dak's contract to? Is it 28?
Oh, it's like 3 more years.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So it's like 29 then?
29, yeah.
I mean, hell, look at what I'm not saying take a page from the Packers here, but look at what the Packers do. We draft a guy, we let him sit behind a franchise quarterback that we already believe in, and he learns. And with some of these guys, maybe not Carson Beck, but like Aller, Klubnik, Nussmeier, if you really want to take a shot at Simpson, these are not bad guys to let do that. And that's what this quarterback feels like to class.
You know where Carson Beck's going, right? It's gonna be like round 4, and it'll be Miami Dolphins. And he'll stay in Miami.
I don't even think Miami fans want that. They don't.
No, nobody wants it. But he'll
wants
stay
that.
in Miami. He'll stay in Miami. He'll go and he'll compete. Let's pretend Tua's still there. He won't be. But compete with Tua, and he will never see the field. Actually, no, what will be even better? Him and Zach Wilson will compete for the job together.
The worst quarterback room in the league, maybe. I mean, that's...
they'll send a 7th round pick for Deshaun Watson and really just even that out.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Go ahead and get Daniel Jones in there, too, but, like, with
hey,
the broken leg.
Don't bash my boy Danny Dimes.
With the broken leg is my point. Like, go ahead and get him, but break his leg again and let him compete in that room, too.
Now, week four, then they'll trade for Joe Flacco, and Joe will have the job for the rest of the year. That's just how it goes.
Look, man, if Chambliss was in this draft, it would just be like, it would be
he's going. So Chambliss gets in the draft, and I don't know. I'm a little worried with how he sees himself, but I guess right if you can get the money, money.
No, it's not even that. I think watching those games with Georgia fans. I mean, he was just something else. It felt almost very Caleb Williams-esque. It's, but frankly, a more accurate passer. But when sparks fly when he's on, man.
He won't be the top quarterback next year, though.
He won't be the top quarterback, but I think he could easily be the second one off the board. If he was in this class, he'd be the second one off the board easily, maybe even the first. It's just like if the Raiders were like, do you know what? I mean, I know Mendoza. Everyone really believes in Mendoza. I love Mendoza, too. I don't want to sound like a Mendoza hater. I think the guy's magic. They should build a statue of him surrounded by 3 Ohio State players with the ball over the end zone flying in the air. Like, put that in Indiana because that was the best thing that's ever happened for Indiana beyond beyond maybe getting the Bears, I guess. What are you doing, Bears?
Ugh.
You're gonna let another state take your team from you?
Crazy.
Little brother franchise forever. Could never be us. Anyway, had to get that out there. You know what I mean? So it's like,
bro, I will say, if you can point at a map and tell me where Green Bay is, then I'll let you say that.
I know exactly where Green Bay, Wisconsin is. Next time we're in person, I will show you where it is.
All right, sure. Look, here's my thing is, like, I don't even think he's number 2 next year, and I think that's where the issue goes with him, where it's like, well, he'll be
Who's
older.
number 2? He's a year older, but who's
My
number
boy, Arch.
So who's number? I thought you were gonna say Arch is number 1. Who's
Well,
number
I was
1?
gonna say Arch is number 1, but I was expecting you to kind of fight me on that one.
I thought you'd say Arch is 1 and 2 is who? Moore?
Yeah.
I mean, maybe he avoided this draft.
I
because he
thought
hated the teams
you
at
were
the top.
gonna say he was number 1. That's why I was like,
No, I don't think he's number 1. I mean, he avoided this draft because he hated the teams aren't getting better up there. Someone might trade for you, but they're not getting better. So I don't know what he's avoiding.
Well, but I think
he gets money in college.
I think he was also avoiding the Jets, like genuinely.
That's super fair.
Avoiding the Jets, right? There's always a chance that next year that the Jets have the number 1 overall pick, but then he says I don't want to go there, and they draft Arch, right? So it's like it's one of those things of there was no way he was going to be the number 1 overall pick this year, so it's like he was guaranteed to the Jets. It at least plays a little bit into the factor that he has more competition. And maybe, you know what? Kudos to Chambliss then. Maybe that's what he's doing too. Like, maybe they're all just playing the anti-Jets game of just trying to stay away from them. But I just feel like going into next year, he'll be like the 3rd or 4th, and he'll be a year older. He might not even be. He'll probably be a top 10 pick, maybe.
Let's see what happens in college. I guess we'll see what happens with Ole Miss this year.
Yeah, you also I don't know. Like, we talk about a guy like Cade Klubnik. We talk about a guy like Ty Simpson. We talk about Nussmeier, right? Mm-hmm. These guys that are maybe rated higher going into the season compared to how they end. It's like,
sure,
you have such a high level, and it's so easy for you to mess that up. It is so easy for your stock to fall. Look at Arch. Arch was supposed to be in this draft and be the guy. Like, if you look at...
He turned it around a little, but he shouldn't have come out. He shouldn't come out of college.
Correct. I'm glad he stayed. I mean, as a Texas guy, I'm very glad he stayed.
Sure.
But it's like, you look at... Like, I'm doing a Madden playthrough right now, and it's like, and I downloaded a roster thinking that I'd get this year's 26 roster, and instead I got what was supposed to be this year's 26 roster, quote unquote, and Arch was the number 1 prospect on that draft. And it's like, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. Like, yeah, totally. But because he was so bad going in the beginning of the year, he stayed back. And Chambliss now does not have that leeway. If he does not show off next year, and honestly, same thing with Moore, right? It's like if he didn't show up, then all of a sudden everyone's like, okay, well, you're not that good.
I feel like also going back to the Jets, there should be a new rule. They shouldn't be allowed to draft quarterbacks anymore. Like, I feel like so many good quarterbacks.
You're gonna do that to the Browns, man.
But maybe all of them. Maybe they just, hey, after you've drafted over 5 if you draft more than 5 quarterbacks in an 8-year span, you're no longer allowed to draft quarterbacks in the top 3 rounds for the next 10 years.
Yo, what's wrong with the Jets drafting Super Bowl winning quarterback Sam Darnold, man?
The problem is he was seeing ghosts, and it's just like maybe they just shouldn't be allowed. And Jets fans, every team that's like anyone who's a fan of one of these teams who's like, we just need a quarterback. I'm sorry, but I'm tired of watching good quarterbacks in college that I like seeing in college go to you and looking terrible. It's just, you're not worthy anymore. Figure it out, because I'm over it for you.
Look, bringing back Zach Wilson, man. Just the GOAT, dude. The GOAT. Speaking of, well, you know what? If they're not going to draft quarterbacks, then they got to sign them in free agency.
Remember we were talking about this top of the episode?
Yeah.
Great way to round it out.
Yeah, there we go. Look, on to our first subject tonight. Quarterback free agency. So, there's a couple of big names out there. I am laughing at the last one that you put, as much as I think they probably should. and they've talked about it a little bit. I don't think they will. So we're not going to be talking about Josh put C.J. Stroud as a trade candidate. Look, the Texans were good, and yeah, okay. No, we're not doing that. We're going over to free agency, though. So, top names on the board. I was surprised by how you ordered this list.
Okay, yeah, I mean, I was just kind of going, but...
okay, because my number one free agent for everybody is number one free agent probably is George Pickens if he hits the market, but he's not going to, is right. Malik Willis. I think that's the number one guy.
Interesting.
Over Daniel Jones, over Russell Wilson, over Aaron Rodgers, Mariota, Flacco, cans that you have after that. Trash cans and all that. Yeah. I think Malik Willis is a guy. I think he's this year's Justin Fields for better or for worse. He's gonna get the deal. He's gonna get that deal too, the 3-year, $90 million.
Yeah, and he'll get something good.
Oh yeah, and he'll get it from a team like Arizona, like Miami, like some of these teams we've talked about so far. I wish he would get it from Minnesota, but they're attached to the hip to this cancer of a quarterback.
No, I think Malik Willis, he feels like it's Miami or Arizona, and I think that's just because of the coaching thing. As a Packers fan, it's just like, oh yeah, Jeff Hafley and Mike LaFleur, duh. That's what it feels like to me. Those are the teams that feel like they wouldn't mind a stopgap year, and maybe they do give him like 3 years, $90 million, but a second year out maybe just to, if it doesn't work and they can draft someone next year, that feels the most appropriate for them.
Who's on this list?
Mm-hmm.
Who's the best?
I think Malik Willis is going to work for the record. But
yeah,
go on.
I do too. Who in your opinion? And there's a reason I'm going to ask this for multiple reasons, but there's a reason I'm going to ask this with the team in mind. Who is going to have the best season next year? Maybe not be the best long-term option, but the best single season next year of all these options. Could be the same answer.
So if you want me to go who is the best newcomer to the scene? Malik Willis is my answer. I feel like he could have the best season of all the people on this list.
I mean, you got Aaron Rodgers there, Russell Wilson,
No, I know.
Jones,
Aaron Rodgers, Daniel Jones. I mean, Daniel Jones, he is capped because he... we'll see when he gets back. And I think he signs with the Colts again, and he might play really well again. And just more about when he gets back, So I'm thinking if you get to play the whole season. Because maybe Daniel Jones is still, the best quarterback on this list that I put out there. Kyler and Tua... Kyler still, I know he's hit or miss sometimes. But if he can find himself in the best position after this and he gets cut and someone picks him up, I think Kyler could do really well, too, somewhere else. It's gotten stale in Arizona. And I know he's not a free agent, but he is gonna get cut.
Yeah, we'll throw him, Tua, and Kirk, and Geno, honestly, in there.
I just think Kyler, it's funny because I think Malik Willis goes to Arizona, and I think Kyler could have the best season potentially out of all these quarterbacks, right?
So you would say Kyler?
Yeah, I'd pick Kyler. Landing spot matters, but if he's in the right position, we've seen him play very well.
Then what I will say is a bold take that I'm going to take right here.
Okay.
Contrary to popular belief, and maybe they sign him on a 1-year cheap deal, but the Colts, given that they don't have their first-round pick next year, because they traded it to the Jets, go after... off of what you said, Kyler Murray. I think that they go.
You put so much into Daniel Jones.
Did you though? I mean, he's a free agent for a reason. You did a 1-year deal.
I guess they didn't trade those first-round picks for Daniel Jones. They did it for Sauce Gardner, and so it's just, I guess you did it.
You did it to build the team.
Just feels dirty.
It does feel. It does feel dirty. It does feel dirty, but I think this ownership is cutthroat. And I believe in this ownership to say, hey, we're not here to make friends. We are here to make the playoffs and win games. And do we think that this quarterback coming off of a major injury that also, again, I hate to say it, was kind of starting to falter a little bit at the end there as well.
Yeah, totally.
Like their losing streak started with him still.
It's funny. I think I almost avoided putting the Colts for any of these. Like, I put some for drafting. Like, maybe the Colts draft one of these guys. But when I look at the free agents, I almost avoided the Colts.
Yep.
Because I was like, oh, that feels so dirty. So, you know what's crazy? I only put the Colts for one team, and that was with Tua. I was like, yeah, Tua could be a Colt.
And the reason why you probably did that is because it's like, yeah, you're signing a guy to be the backup there. But what have we learned, right? So they're probably going to trade Anthony Richardson for a 7th-round pick or something, 6th-round pick to some team that's going to rehab him. Maybe Miami would be kind of a fun fit, right? Fun. It's like, a team that will put him into camp to compete with somebody. Mm-hmm. Maybe you send him to Green Bay, and he's not going to compete with Jordan Love, but he's there to rehab himself, right? And so
maybe just one of those like electric quarterback backups that Malik Willis 2.0.
Yeah, throw him to Atlanta, throw him to a team that's kind of tied to a guy. Throw him to Minnesota, right? Like, throw him to a team that's going to, like, tie, and he's probably not going to win any job, and that's fine, whatever. However, if you are sitting there, I'm not saying that they're not going to sign Daniel Jones, but I wouldn't be surprised if it's like, hey, Danny, we're signing you to a 1-year, $20 million deal. If you don't play more than 8 games or whatever, or 4 games, right? Then it's like $10 million guaranteed. You just got to hit the 5th game, and it's guaranteed, right? And full deal, and it's another 1-year contract. And if you come back, that's fantastic, dude. Because then next year you're not going to be in free agency off an injury. You are going to prove that you were the real deal, and you're going to get like 10 times that. I think it kind of works for him. On the other side, I think the Colts sit there and go, we don't have our 1st-round pick. We don't have time to mess around with a guy that comes back slow from injury. Mm-hmm. If I think that Kyler's going to be the best quarterback next year, if I think that Tua's the guy, if I think that Malik Willis is the guy, then
I think
willing
you only go younger if you're the Colts. I agree with you.
And there you go. So it's like, then I'm willing to throw the money and say, hey, we need you to be the guy right now. Like, we need you to make the deal. And I think actually the Malik Willis signing kind of makes sense if you also do a Daniel Jones signing. Because what if, like, they sign him and then Daniel Jones wins the job? Cool. We have Malik Willis for 2 more years. And he will have the job next year. Right? Or it's like, or we will trade him. Or we will, it's stuff like that. I don't think, again, it reminds me of the Falcons signing Kirk Cousins. If you remember back in the day, everyone was like, yeah, Kirk's going to be a free agent. He's not going anywhere. He's not going anywhere. He's not. Everyone was saying that. No, he's going back to the Vikings. Don't worry about it. He's going back to the Vikings. He was coming off that injury. And the Vikings said, have fun, man. You made your money. Go get it.
Now, do you think Daniel Jones would sign that kind of deal? Because, I mean, at the end, the way people were honestly talking about him was, you are now the Colts franchise quarterback. Is he going to... him and his agent, are they going to say to the Colts, we are obviously your franchise... I mean, the Colts have the leverage here, but, like, do you...
Who's going to offer him? Like, that's it. That's the answer. Who's going to offer?
No, that's fair. There's a couple of teams that might, but I do agree with you. If you're the Colts, go get a Kyler or a Tua or Malik Willis. Don't go get one of the old guys, a Russell Wilson, Aaron Rodgers. Just go. If you're going to have someone compete with Daniel Jones, I mean, we've seen quarterback rooms like that. We've seen the Baker Sam Darnold room. We've seen the Baker Matthew Stafford room. We've seen different kinds of like quarterback rooms with some of these top guys. So that's possible. So now I have an interesting one, which I want to bring up, which is Aaron Rodgers. So if he doesn't go back to the Steelers, which I guess maybe he will, whatever, that would be terrible. I don't think he necessarily wants to do it, but he wants to keep playing football.
He's going.
I think he should go to the Vikings.
You just wanted to do his Brett Favre thing, man.
No. Well, yes, but I think he should go to the... I think, honestly, if you're the Vikings, do it. Because then you get Aaron Rodgers, and you get to sit 9, and he just gets to sit there and learn. And that's worked before. It's worked before. And so Yeah, that'd be funny as hell. Do it. Aaron Rodgers, go to the Vikings. I think it'd be great. And Justin Jefferson will probably appreciate it. And I think you can compete with Aaron Rodgers, but I don't think Aaron Rodgers. I don't think you should work with Mike McCarthy again. I think that's a terrible idea.
I mean, I would love that as a non-depreciator, unappreciator.
Yeah.
As a person who sees that, I don't think he's that good, and I think everyone
tough.
sees that, and it just kind of it hurts to see because I did believe in him going into the league, and I was like, oh,
Go
maybe.
blue.
I was like, maybe this guy can be like the real deal. He's so young. I don't think he can sit. He becomes Trey Lance at that point. If you re-sit him, he's not coming back.
You think so?
He's not, he's not coming back as a Viking. It is the Trey Lance. You trade him away for a 6th-round pick the next year, and you to a team like the Cardinals, or to a team like the 49ers, or to a team like that probably won't need him, won't use him. Again, right? They traded Trey Lance to us for was it like a 4th-round pick?
Yeah, I think it was 4th or 5th. Yeah.
Yeah, and it's like we didn't use him, didn't touch the field, and I think that's where it goes, right? It's like it's one of those like if you sit a guy after starting him for an entire year, what are you doing?
Well, he didn't start the entire year. The whole thing was he just couldn't get on the field. He was just, I mean, he started, and when he started, he had the one really awesome second half, and then it was garbage. And I think the Vikings you're too good of a team and a roster with a coach to be dealing with that, in my opinion. And so, I mean, maybe go get an old guy, trade away 9, and figure it out 2027 or 2026
I would love that.
or 2027 Yeah.
I would love them to get Malik Willis, man, division rival. It'd be fun.
I would hate that. Not that I think that it would like bite us in the ass or anything, but I just think that that's interesting. I thought it was fun. There's a couple other names on here like the Zach Wilsons of the world. Who needs a backup to start? The Marcus Mariotas of the world. Who needs a backup to start? The Chiefs, is Mahomes going to be ready?
Hear me out. Mariota could start.
Where's he starting?
Wherever
he could go to the Chiefs and start for a couple games.
Wherever any of those teams you talked about, he could go to the Jets.
Maybe.
Right? It's because so I was talking to my fellow Jets fan, not fellow, but my friend that's a Jets fan, and he was saying like, I just wish we had a quarterback that was decent enough, not good, decent enough though that we could just evaluate the actual talent on our roster. Do we know if Garrett Wilson is actually really good or not? Yeah, yes. He should be.
We know he's good. He played with Aaron Rodgers. He was great.
Okay. A.D. Mitchell.
That's a tough one.
Right?
The Colts didn't even know. They gave up on him.
So
I think he's bad for the record. So.
How good is, if you keep him, how good is Breece Hall? That's a question we've been asking ourselves for years. Probably pretty good.
I think he's pretty good.
But at this point in his career, is he Trent Richardson? Is he just gonna kind of be like what? Right? So it's like you have these guys. It's like, lower Mason Taylor. How good is he? How good is this? No one knows because they haven't had a quarterback to actually assess him, right? So if you go get like a guy like Brissett, Mariota, these guys, I genuinely think, because I don't think Mac Jones is going to hit the open market. I think he's going to sit with the 49ers for more years.
49ers, yeah.
Because it's for the same reason why I think Jimmy G goes back to the Rams. It's because they're competing and they know we have a guy that can keep us afloat.
Yeah, backup quarterback is valuable.
Yeah, and so I think you're going to sit there as a Jets. You're going to go, all right, what's our options here? We're not, unless we throw a ton of money, we're not going to get Daniel Jones. Russell Wilson will not come.
Is the answer for the Jets Joe Flacco?
No, he's not going back.
You don't think so?
He's not going back.
Like I'm just saying, you need a 1-year guy. Go draft in 27.
Joe's gonna go to like the Falcons.
Oh, I put Browns and Bengals for him. I think those are the only 2 teams. He goes back. He goes back to the Browns.
Going back to the Browns would be hilarious. I think Trey Lance goes to the Ravens.
That's not a bad spot for him.
In a way that you have quite literally, I mean, like, right, you have Lamar, who has been dealing with injury issues, and what is Trey Lance known for? His rushing ability. Because we saw, right, with Snoop Huntley, it's like, look, they tried Cooper Rush, it didn't work out. And then they bring in Snoop, and they actually turn back into a semblance of that offense.
Yeah.
A version of that. And so it's like, okay, cool, let's get a better version of Tyler Huntley. Let's get a guy that maybe can throw the deep passes Zay Flowers ever so often, but, like, can do the rushing thing and do that. I think you see good old... I don't know, like, there is a world, and it's a boring world, where guys like Kyler, Tua, Kirk, and Geno... I don't think Kirk will do this, but I think the other three go and just be a backup for... Well, maybe not Geno either. The first two go and be a backup for 1 year just to rehab their image. Similar to, like, Mac Jones, similar to, like, Sam Darnold did, similar to... You know, it's like all those guys kind of just went to a place, because Darnold was on the 49ers. People kind of forget that, right? It's like, to go and just kind of... Baker did that, right? It's like, to just kind of rehab for, like, 1 year to get people to kind of forget how absolutely terrible they were.
Yeah, I mean, those two are the most... Like, to me, when you look at all of these quarterbacks, it is Kyler Murray, Malik Willis, Tua. Those are the three most interesting free agents that people are going to say these could potentially be long-term answers for quarterback for us. The rest feel like floating backups or one-year-old guys that are just going to go back to the team they're on. And that's just how it feels. And
I mean, Russ isn't going back to the Giants. Russ is the biggest question mark for me, man. I don't know where he fits in the league at this point.
I put him, I was like, does...
Washington?
I put Vikings. I was like, does he go to the Vikings? Does he go to the Falcons or the Saints? Or the Rams, maybe? Like, you talked about the Rams earlier. Go get an old... Russ isn't the... I think Russ is better than Jimmy G. You know?
Russ wouldn't be bad there. I do think he still wants the chance to start, and I think that, again, that might be the answer for Washington, is sit there and go, hey, Jaden, we're not benching you, like, obviously, and we're not saying we don't trust you. What we're saying is we think you can learn from this guy.
Yeah, I think, but if it...
And he hates the Giants now, so...
Yeah, obviously. Russell Wilson is a huge question mark because it's like, he wants to start somewhere. Who's going to give him the chance to start somewhere? If you actually want to start...
Oh, wait, no. Never mind. No. Never mind. I was thinking just off the top of my head, I was like, oh, who needs a quarterback? Who's hurt? Denver. Bo Nix.
That's hilarious.
No,
I think if you're...
Not Denver.
You know, I think prime spot to be, if you want to start and rehab your market, is if you're the guy that gets to go to the Chiefs for 5 games, and you get to ball out on the Chiefs with Andy Reid, and then maybe either they trade you away or it was a 1-year deal and the next year, that's a great position to be in. Because you only got to do it for 5 weeks. Patrick Mahomes back. You have a great coaching staff behind you. Solid defense. You're going to have good playmakers around you, too. It could totally backfire if you really are bad. But that position is the one I want to go to, maybe if I'm Kyler, Tua, or Russell Wilson. You know?
Joe Flacco to Denver, man.
Hey, do you know what? Joe Flacco to Denver, not bad. That's okay.
I think I like that one. I think I like that a lot.
Bo Nix is okay with that. You know what I mean?
You let Bo Nix sit for the first 3 games just because he's coming back from that injury.
Exactly. Broken ankles take a long time.
Yep, and you got Joe that's going to come in, and he'll have a baller first 3 weeks. They'll bench him when Bo Nix comes back, and then at the trade deadline, they'll send him to, Cincinnati again. No, they'll
Cincinnati just keeps trading for Joe Flacco every year. Every year Joe Flacco's available, Cincinnati's like, do you know who we could really use right now?
You know who we could really use, man?
Do we need the 6th round
Pro
pick?
Bowler Joe Flacco.
Do we need the 6th round pick, or do we need Joe Flacco?
Pro Bowler Joe Flacco.
Pro Bowler Joe Flacco. No,
2025 Pro Bowler Joe Flacco.
Yeah, we'll see. There's some interesting names, but I think those 3 are the big ones. It's Tua, Kyler, Malik Willis. That's who I'm most interested in.
Not to stay on Joe Flacco. However, this would be fun. I think this is the answer to the Daniel Jones kerfuffle. If the Colts sign Daniel Jones 3-year, again, get him on a discount because of the injury. 3-year, let's call it 3-year, $90 million again. as like kind of the baseline Justin Fields deal with an out after 2 years, but he gets $45 million guaranteed, all that. If the Colts sign him on that, where did Joe Flacco revive his career the first time? Indy.
Yep.
You bring him in and you say, hey, Danny, we don't need you the first 5 weeks. Stay, relax, rehab, we want you for the long run. Joe
if you're
can
Daniel Jones in his agent, you're like, we got it.
And Joe can do it for 3-2. You know, Joe can get you to 2-3, 3-2, can keep you at 500.
Yeah, and that's where some of those old guys, it's like the Colts felt interesting to me because do you want to commit to Daniel Jones, but he has the injury? I think if you go younger and you go with one of his peers, then it's like, okay, that's a competition now.
Oh yeah, if you go again, if you get Malik Willis or Kyler Murray, you're drafting in the 4th round, you know, one of those quarterbacks that we talked about, right? It's like,
I agree. It's like the Vikings and the Falcons feel like they could be in those kinds of positions to me. The Cardinals, obviously Miami, and then Steelers are on the outside of that, where it's if Aaron Rodgers comes back, which it looks like he's going to start that whole year, and you're just going to have to ride that out. You're going to need someone behind him. Will any of these free agent quarterbacks want to sit behind him? I don't know. Zach Wilson?
I know the narrative, and everyone's kind of everyone's off and on about whether they like. You have your Shador haters, you have your Shador lovers.
Mm-hmm.
Do the Browns bring in competition, or do they say, we've had we have too many quarterbacks as is?
Do they have too many quarterbacks? I mean,
Dylan Gabriel, Shador, and Deshaun Watson still on the roster.
I don't count Deshaun Watson anymore, in my opinion. So, in my opinion, what you have is you have Shador Sanders, a guy you really don't believe in anyway, let's just be real, and Dylan Gabriel, who's just not good enough. And so, yeah, if I'm the Browns, maybe. It really depends on the new coaching staff. Do they like these guys? These aren't their guys. They didn't draft these guys. They didn't trade for these guys.
Yeah.
Is there a free agent out there to come in and compete? Plenty. Do you want to go get Kyler Murray or Tua? Like, maybe.
Tua's the one that feels like weirdly could kind of...
The biggest problem with Tua is his ability to play in outside dome cold weather. That's a huge question mark. And if you're in Cleveland, that's where you play October on. I don't know.
Well, and I sit there, though, and I go, like, okay, if you bring Tua in, you say, hey, Shador, this is your job. We're just bringing him in to kind of compete, to kind of help you. I also am not sure he actually just has the wherewithal to fight for that job. Not Shador, Tua.
I don't know if Shador does either. I was super in on Shador last year. He confuses me. I really just don't know.
Pro Bowler Shador Sanders.
I know Pro Bowler Shador Sanders. I just wonder if I wonder if the Browns have just burned that bridge. That relationship feels gross.
It does, and I don't know if you saw the intro from their new head coach and Shador because he was like, I tried to get you, but you said no with the Ravens and all that. Yeah, but people use that quote a lot when he started that conversation. He was like, hey, we're gonna talk about this more later, and that's how that conversation starts.
Yeah. And
that to me reads, hey, the cameras are on right now. We're gonna make this look happy, but dude, shape up or get out.
Yeah,
that to me is how that this coach does not seem outwardly like a big fan of him. I'm not gonna lie.
Well, it's like you got to remember you're starting on the Browns. You are the new Browns head coach, right? And so you're starting in a behind the eight ball, frankly. Like you are
a year with a bad quarterback class.
Yeah, you're Todd Monken with a year with a bad quarterback class. Are you guaranteed by the Browns a couple years? I think so. I think you might be guaranteed at least 2 to 3 years. So, yeah, is Shador your long-term answer? I don't really think so. Maybe you try to work him up and trade him and capitalize, and then you can get your guy in 27. So,
Aaron Rodgers, Cleveland Brown.
I mean, Aaron, why not? You're
There's so many reasons why not, dude.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know if that relationship's good or not. I don't know if he wants Shador. I don't know.
It does feel like they are going to make a move. I look at the list, and the only name I see that could kind of work there is Geno. Like,
Joe
I'm like,
Flacco.
oh yeah, or definitely not Joe. But it feels like Gino could work there, right? Gino's another one that I like think about the Colts, and I'm like, oh, like someone that he's probably gonna like compete, could start, but he's
Could
not.
start.
He's not fighting for options, or like it's like okay, he is gonna have like three teams to choose from essentially, and so because when you're getting dissed by the Raiders, you don't really have beggars can't be choosers on that one. So
Great time
that's
in
kinda,
Seattle.
yeah. Honestly, go bring him back to be the backup there, man. Like that's
Sure, why not?
that's fine. Why not? Like there's still enough teams that need him to be a backup. I wouldn't be surprised if that's where he ends up going to just be a backup, right? Like a place like that. Or if if the 49ers move on from Mac Jones, then it's Geno for a year in the back, right? It's like
We'll see.
one of those.
A lot of these free agents feel like, okay, who's the next back? Where are you going to be a backup next?
Yep.
Unless you're going back to where you were starting and you can start again like Aaron Rodgers, or you're Tua, Kyler, or Malik Willis, where are you going to be in the next backup? And that's where I feel that these quarterbacks are at.
Is there any big trade this offseason, quarterback-wise? I mean, the one name that comes up is Joe Burrow, but like I don't think that happens unless he demands, and even if he demands, I don't see it happening. The only team that has the picks for it are the Jets. Like, it's the Jets.
It's the Jets, and I just think unless like you're a team who really is like, I mean, Sam Darnold will be hilarious, but like if you're Seattle, I would totally move off Sam. I know he just won you a Super Bowl, but yeah, if you could get a.
I mean, they're getting off the Super Bowl MVP too, so.
I mean, maybe we'll see. I think they want to re-sign Kenneth Walker. You don't think so?
He's gone.
I mean, I think someone's going to pay him a lot of money, and if they're not going to do it, he will go with the team with the most money. Because his career, he's capped it now. Like, what more do you need besides just a bunch of money? You have your Super Bowl and your MVP. You're not competing for like greatest running back. Go get your money. But anyway, no, I mean, C.J. Stroud's got a lot of weird heat because of the owner comments, but I just don't see any. If it's not Kyler and Tua, and no one's trading for Kyler or Tua, no big moves, nothing splashy. Do you?
I mean, the only move that I could see would be Burrow getting moved, and I think if
he likes where he's at, though. I know he's like the organization, but look at his
He's
team.
made some big comments, man.
I know, but he's got Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and
he talked about
Browns.
retiring, dude.
Well, I think these are comments on.
I don't know.
Protection.
Yeah, but that's what I'm saying. Like, and you're looking at a coach that's incompetent. You're looking at an offense. Like, if you're the Bengals, though, you choose Joe Burrow, and I think that's just kind of where he's trying to get. But where I'm saying is, if they don't address anything, if free agency comes and they do nothing, if free agency comes and nothing happens, and it's dead silence, and then let's say the draft comes around, and first round they draft a corner, or first round they draft a tight end, and they don't address the offensive line.
Sure.
I think you're sitting there, or third round comes around, and you know that your quarterback's been hurt, and they draft Nussmeier, or they draft a quarterback that falls.
Yeah,
like where I'm saying is that is such a big move that could happen, and the thing is, the possibility is actually there. That you're also looking at at teams that are desperate for quarterback that are good. So again, right? We're talking about the Vikings.
Yeah,
the Vikings
I think there are plenty of teams that could also trade for Joe Burrow that have franchise quarterbacks, and they would include that.
The Texans.
The Texans, I think the Cowboys would or should or could. Give up Dak Prescott and get Joe Burrow, and you only have to give up so many draft picks. I think that. So when Joe Burrow was making those comments, there was I saw a lot on my feed personally because I'm a Packers fan. Do you want to go get Joe Burrow for Jordan Love? Personally, I'm fine. I'm good. But I'd understand it.
Yeah.
Do I think Joe Burrow is better than Jordan Love? Probably in a vacuum. But I'm so attached to Jordan Love. He's my quarterback. He's my guy. I want to see him thrive and win a Super Bowl with us. But I would get it. There's a lot of teams that are like that. But I think for Joe Burrow, it's going to be hard to evaluate in the offseason with player personnel. Yes, maybe you took a shot and you tried to grab Max Crosby or something, or you tried to move up for a big defensive play. You want to win the coach battle. You want to get rid of Zach Taylor. It's not happening this year. Going into 27, if you still have Zach Taylor, first off, what are you doing, Bengals? And second, that's where it gets serious. I don't want to play with Zach Taylor anymore. I love Jamar Chase. I love T. Higgins. I love Chase Brown. I love the city. But I'm tired of this coach, and that's a big question.
Well, and the bigger thing about that, it does feel like it's lining up. Again, don't really want to see him on the Jets, but it's lining up. The Jets have the picks.
I don't want to see him on the Jets, man.
Jets have the picks. Jets have Garrett Wilson, and you don't need to have Garrett Wilson. What you do is you include Jamar Chase in that trade. There you go.
I don't know if the Bengals want to do that. Those are your stars. Those are your 2-star players. What are you doing?
Jets have 3 first-round picks next year? One of which being the Colts, one of which being probably the Cowboys versus the Packers, and their own.
You need more. You need more. For Joe Burrow, and you throw Garrett Wilson and you get Jamar Chase, you need more. You got to throw in more because that's just not enough.
Well, no, you do your first-round pick this year. You do Garrett Wilson. And you do 2 first next year.
No, that's not enough. For Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase? For Joe Burrow and Jamar Chase, that's not enough. That's
3
not
first-round
enough.
picks and a star wide receiver.
No. You're talking about one of the top 5 quarterbacks when healthy and one of the top 2 wide receivers. Yep. No, that's not enough.
Okay. If you're the Bengals, what about 9? Just for Vikings. 9 and 3 firsts for just Joe Burrow.
That might be enough.
And for Joe Burrow, he becomes more satisfied because he gets Kevin O'Connell and he goes to Justin Jefferson, which is still his guy.
I mean, yeah, it's lateral. That's enough. That being said,
and if you're the Bengals, you sit there and you go, dude, we have 3 first-round picks. We have a quarterback that we can see if we like. If we don't like him, we get a top quarterback in 2027 for Jamar Chase.
The biggest problem is like you're hedging and you're kind of restarting when you don't need to. Because those picks aren't going to be good. They're going to be bad.
They don't need to, though. But, yeah, they do.
Do they? I think you solve the interpersonal relationship issues. You have the players. Why are you getting rid of the players? That's the hardest part. The hardest part is getting your franchise quarterback and star wide receiver. You did it. Go. Yeah, I'm just thinking. Therapy.
I'm just thinking how they've been last couple years.
Yeah,
it reminds me of, Rams make the Super Bowl with Jared Goff and then trade him because you
got to move on to Matthew Stafford. Very different.
So that's what I'm saying. It's like, look, you're not getting over the hump. Your team went 6-11, 9-8, 9-8, and then you went 12-4, 10-7.
Super Bowl.
And they went Super Bowl when they were 10-7.
Yeah.
Their height, their peak, was 12-4.
12-4 is a great season.
Yeah, no, that's great. That's the year after the Super Bowl. Since then, it's been 9-8, 9-8, 6-11. How long are you going to ride that one Super Bowl loss?
You're not riding it. This is your franchise quarterback. This is your franchise wide receiver. It's not a ride for you anymore. It's not over. You're in the middle of it. Joe Burrow is not close to done. He is reaching his prime ages. If you are a serious NFL franchise and team, you keep the franchise quarterback. Even if you don't win a Super Bowl, you keep him. Because if not, you're relegated to mediocrity and garbage.
Wait.
That's the hardest thing to get is the quarterback. Trust me, as someone who had Aaron Rodgers and got 1 Super Bowl out of him, I wouldn't trade any of those seasons for just a second Super Bowl because we were always good. We would be so bad if we did that kind of thing.
Hopping back to then, Matt Stafford, you're on the Lions. Did the Lions get better after trading Matt Stafford?
I mean, yeah, but they kind of already had some of those pieces around Matt to build around. Like Amon-Ra was there.
Oh, did they get better?
I mean, yeah, but
Then we go over here. Did the Rams get better getting Matthew Stafford?
I mean, yes, but the big
Because
question
they
is
won
the
a Super Bowl.
quarterback.
Okay,
What
now
Browns
let's go to
quarterback
this
bring
most
back?
recent Super Bowl champion. Traded Russell Wilson, and in return got the picks that got them the Emerald City Route Artist. Did they get better?
I mean, yeah, but the question is who becomes your
And he had
quarterback?
taken them 2 Super Bowls and won them a Super Bowl and was
it took
in
the
his
Seahawks-
prime.
Think about how long it took the Seahawks to get back to this, and they had to find Sam Darnold this year. It worked for the Lions immediately because they were able to get Jared Goff, who was still a good quarterback.
the Seahawks had Geno Smith and went to the playoffs, man.
I know, but even then, like, it still took a while to get there. It's just like you were not what you were. If the reason it worked so well and immediately in the Lions and Rams situation is because the quarterbacks were both great and you could just swap them. That's fine. They both benefit. But if you're the Browns and you move off of Joe Burrow for who? You're going to be bad if you don't get one. You need a quarterback.
Look, the Seahawks went, they won their Super Bowl, lost their Super Bowl. 10-6, 10-5, great, right? 9-7, 10-6, 11-5, 12-4. Made playoffs all those years. They go 7-10 once. They trade Russell Wilson. Immediately make playoffs 9-8, 9-8, 10-7, win the Super Bowl at 14-3. It's been 4 seasons.
Okay, you're
4 seasons.
You're advocating for the Bengals to move off their franchise quarterback, who's in his prime. Who do they get? Who's their quarterback next year?
What I'm saying so then, sign a guy.
Who's your quarterback?
Joe Flacco.
That's not good enough.
Why?
You need a franchise quarterback. You need to replace him with a franchise
All right,
quarterback.
so you trade for 9. You trade for 9, right? 9 and 3 first-round picks. What I'm saying is, if they
Jamar Chase is gone.
Cool. Trade him too.
Cool. Trade him for what? Picks are nothing. The players are like this is.
You say that, but the Seahawks did it, dude. Like, that's what the Seahawks did.
I know they did it, but this kind of comes back to me for Micah Parsons. When drafting is so hard, when you can get a guaranteed guy, you're like, oh, we got 2 first-round picks. Congrats. We got Micah Parsons, one of the best defensive ends in the league. He can rush the pass like it's nobody's bit. He might be the best at it when he's fully healthy and at full strength. And my whole thing is like, would I rather take a chance at a first-round pick or Micah Parsons? Would I rather have the chance for 2 first-round picks? Or would I rather have the chance for 3 first-round picks or Joe Burrow? Joe Burrow's guaranteed.
No, but here's what I'm asking. Is Joe Burrow winning a Super Bowl this year? Are the Bengals winning the Super Bowl this year?
You're not winning the Super Bowl without him.
Are you winning the Super Bowl this year?
Maybe. Yeah, maybe. Maybe. Joe Burrow lets you compete. You're not going to win it without him. And if you want to win a Super Bowl next year, you need Joe Burrow.
Were the Lions ever going to win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford?
That was more of a relationship issue than a...
Were the Lions ever going to win a Super Bowl with Matthew Stafford? He had Calvin Johnson.
They could, and every year. I mean, you got to think about it. They were always talked about as like, oh wow, they're really talented. They could is the whole thing. But if you don't have Matthew Stafford, if you don't have Joe Burrow,
this Bengals team is not good enough to win a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow.
Disagree. They got to a Super Bowl with Joe Burrow.
And what have they done since, man? They hit 12-4 season. They haven't won 10 games since. It's been 3 years
when Aaron Rodgers
3 years of missing playoffs since then, dude.
When Aaron Rodgers won Super Bowl in 2011,
yeah,
were they not good enough to win every other year? No, they were always good enough. They didn't, but they were always good enough.
But did they make playoffs?
Joe, first off,
did they make playoffs? The Bengals haven't made playoffs in 3 years, dude.
Take out the injury years.
Oh, you mean all of them then? What I'm saying is, if you can get this price right now, if the Colts could get this price for Andrew Luck back in the day, they take it. Hindsight being 2020, they know. So what I'm saying is,
Joe Burrow. Not moving off Joe Burrow. I'm sorry, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league.
What I'm saying is, historically, it worked for the Seahawks. It worked for the Rams getting one of those quarterbacks. And honestly, it worked for the Lions because they're much better off now because they were not ready to win with Matthew Stafford.
No.
The Seahawks were not ready to win with Russell Wilson.
Why are the Bengals not ready to win with Joe Burrow? What are they missing? What are they missing?
a coach, an offensive line, a defense. They literally they've tied all their money up in quarterback and wide receiver. That's it.
Okay, that's fine. So coach is super easy. You can replace that tomorrow if you want. There's still plenty of great candidates. Go get a new coach right now if you care. I think they should have. They could have got the best coach with Joe Burrow, but they didn't, so they're going to have to wait till next year. Offensive line, you can spend your resources revamping that.
They don't have any. That's what I'm saying.
They have some.
They don't have any money.
They have. It's the picks. It's the picks, right? You got to take shots at the picks.
Oh, wait, how many picks? They have 1 first-round pick.
I mean, yeah, but great offensive linemen are not just found in the first round. You're found everywhere. If you want to draft only offensive linemen and just say,
oh, yeah, but the defense is awful.
You can't fix it all in a year.
But what I'm saying,
Joe Burrow isn't gonna fix it this year.
This
you don't
year,
have a quarterback.
This year, my opinion, is the year to do it.
You're crazy.
Free agency class is decent. You go get Joe Flacco. You just bring back Joe. You say this year's a wash, dude. We're done. This year's a wash. This division is weak enough that, believe it or not, we actually might win this division if we have Daniel Jones, if we have Joe Flacco, if we have just some boring player. But you know what? We're not going to win the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. We're not going to win the Super Bowl with Joe Burrow. Not a knock on him, a knock on us and how we've constructed this team and the cap room that we've assigned to him and Jamar Chase. So you know what? We're going to pull the Seahawks. We're going to trade him to a team that can send us a young quarterback, 9, and 3 first-round picks. Because you know what? We're going to use those first-round picks to actually revitalize and revamp this team that we have right now. And we're going to build. Because you know what? Next year, if we suck, we're going to get the top quarterback. And Arch Manning's going to come in, be our quarterback, throw to Jamar Chase. And you know what? We're going to have an offensive line around him. We're going to have a defense around him. And we're going to be younger. This entire division is garbage and is starting from scratch. So should we.
I just figured it out, Brayden. I just figured it out. I just figured out exactly what you did all this for. You love Arch Manning so much, you just don't want him to go to the Jets or the Browns. That's it. That's it. You just want him to have a good, comfy place to land. That's all this is.
Look,
that's
Bengals are not a good, comfy place, man.
I would argue the Bengals, with all of that talent and those picks that you're arguing with the new fancy coach for Arch Manning over the Jets and the Browns, yeah, that's a comfy position to be in.
But you see what I'm saying? If there was ever a time to move off Joe Burrow, it's right now. I'm not saying that they should. I'm saying that it is right now.
That's crazy. This is a crazy way to end the segment. Crazy way to end the segment, to argue about Joe Burrow and if he should be a Bengal for the rest of his career.
Freddie, when you're listening to this, text Josh and say how correct I am. Freddie and I have had this conversation, and you're in the minority here, buddy. You're down 2-1.
At any point, though, like, we could move off our star franchise quarterback, and we could get like a lot of picks, and any team could do that. We can move off Jordan.
I would argue right now, Dallas Cowboys. No.
You could get for Dak. You could get 2. You can get 2 firsts.
With that cap hit, I don't know if anyone wants it.
Joe Burrow is a similar cap hit.
I know, but Joe Burrow's better. That's what I'm saying.
He's
younger.
I think
someone's still willing to take that. That's what I'm saying.
The Jets would do 2 for Dak Prescott right now. I think
probably not.
I think they would. I disagree completely. Anyway, that's great football talk. That's great quarterback talk. Great quarterback talk.
Mm-hmm. Well,
good job,
here's what I'll say. We're going. We'll do one last little goodbye segment here. Moving on to the NBA, man. Do you have any big picks over here? Again, we ended up talking football for the majority of the time.
Of course. I'm the NBA guy. I want to bring basketball in. That's what I'm doing.
Yeah. Any big? So you asked me. You can talk MVP. I just have I know who's gonna win the NBA Finals, which is fine. It's not really even a question right now. So that's
not a
completely.
Question? I think there's plenty of great teams that are up in the air.
Oh yeah, no, there's plenty of great teams. There's just there's one team that's gonna win it.
Okay, who wins it all?
San Antonio Spurs.
Okay, do you know what? That's where I thought you were going with it, and that is the team that should be favored. Yeah, they're great.
And they're not favored right now. If you look at Vegas,
I think OKC is still above them. I think that Denver might be slightly.
Yep. No, I think this is the year. This feels very akin to kind of Giannis's Bucks year, where it just kind of feels like they have the Thunder's number, and I think they're the team that can beat the Thunder. Also, it's so hard to repeat, dude. It's so hard to repeat.
No, I don't think the Thunder. Everyone who thought, oh, this Thunder team is about to be the new I don't think that's going to happen at all. I think, health aside, I think that it's just so hard to repeat when it's best of series. You have more of it in basketball compared to football, I guess, because that's just a really hard thing to win a Super Bowl. But I just think that the Thunder aren't one of those teams that is going to be celebrated and able to win a second one. I don't think they could. The Spurs
I think they will probably in like 4 years.
Oh, sorry. Back to back. I don't think they're going to be a dynasty.
Yeah.
They're not the Warriors. It's not, Spurs is a great pick. I mean, selfishly, it's the Knicks for me. God, man, the Pistons just have their number. They cannot beat Detroit, and Detroit looks great.
Detroit looks great. Detroit gives me like early Atlanta Hawks vibes from like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, like 2010, 2011.
Yeah, like Josh Smith, Kyle Korver, Kyle Horford, right?
Kyle Korver, Georgia boy. He was from my hometown. That was great.
Right. So like they give me that kind of vibe, which if you remember, fantastic. Paul Millsap, fantastic regular seasons, and then like. They did the playoffs, and
I hope so, because I want them. If it's not out of the East, if it's not Detroit, because they look good, it's the Knicks for me. I just think that they're that good. I think there's a lot of teams that can compete. I think Cleveland's very good. I think that Boston is great with Jaylen Brown. I think that he has completely proven himself, and will. Oh my God, he's been out so long. I'm forgetting his name.
Tatum.
Tatum. Thank you. I was like, it's a T name. Tatum. Jason Tatum.
I thought you were saying Will, and I was like, who's Will, dude?
I had Jason on the top of my head. I was like, what's his last name? It's not Tiller. What is his last name? Jason Tatum. Jason Tatum doesn't want Boston to be this good. I know he doesn't selfishly, but he has the opportunity to come back when he wants to.
We've come full circle on the whole Kyrie being out, and then all of a sudden the young kids went to town when it was Tatum and Brown back in the day, and then Kyrie came back and they kind of fell apart.
Yeah. But no, Jaylen Brown's great, but I do think the Knicks are better than the Celtics. I do think the Knicks can play better than the Celtics. That being said, if the Knicks don't win, I think it's just Giannis is that guy that everyone's going to be looking at, and all these big teams are going to try to make a swing for him, because the Lakers even talk about it because they don't know if LeBron's going to be back next year. Everyone talks about Giannis.
There's rumors my boy Luka's leaving too. I mean, I know he just signed his extension, but like
he's not leaving. Regardless, he's not going back to the Mavs, so it's whatever. I think that
man retires a Maverick. I'll put $5,000 on it right now.
Sure, yeah. Aaron Rodgers is going to retire a Packer. It doesn't mean he's coming back to play for us. What are you talking about, Brayden? It's easy to retire. It's a one-day contract.
Exactly.
Yeah. No, I think Luka could go back to the Mavericks like late in his career to maybe win one or something. I don't know, because I think that would be very heartwarming for him. Regardless, like if the Knicks don't get out of the East this year, I think you need to just full swing. Whatever you have to do, figure it out, because you're too good. You're too good in this market to not win. This is, frankly, the year to do it if you're the Knicks. And I know everyone was talking about last year. Last year was a lot of fun. They had their chance and they blew it against Indiana especially. But this is the year. The East feels wide open.
To me, they just feel a little too streaky. Like,
they've been really good at they've been really good. Except for Detroit. Detroit has their number, but they do really well elsewhere.
I feel like when push comes to shove, I love me some Brunson, man. Love Brunson. I'm not sure how to say this. So I always feel like athleticism takes precedence in the gauntlet of the playoffs. I think that, so you see guys that have succeeded. Giannis, LeBron, even Jokic, right? Jokic can play bully ball down, inside.
Mm-hmm.
When you're relying on Cat to play bully ball, Cat is the perfect version of what Kristaps Porzingis was back in his prime, which is a 3-point shooting power forward, that can occasionally block and occasionally grab rebounds, but he is not a bully ball guy.
You say that. He's not a bully ball guy. You say that, but this year is his worst offensive year, but he is rebounding the ball like crazy. I think he's like top 3 in rebounding rate right now. He is really getting down there, and he's grabbing the ball. He's grabbing boards, man. Like, you're right, Cat, traditionally, that's not his MO, but this year is his worst offensive year, but he is rebounding the crap out of that ball. And so that's where I have a lot of hope. It's like in Mitchell Robinson, he's better at free throws than he was.
I do love Mitchell Robinson, but yeah.
I just think the Knicks have, they have the most great talent. I think Jose Alvarado was a great grab, but, Josh Hart, OG Anunoby, Mikal Bridges, Jose Alvarado, they got Shamet, Brunson, Cat, Mitchell Robinson. They have a great team, and the energy's awesome there. And I just think that, I think that the Knicks should do it. I think the Knicks can, and I want to see it happen. I think it's great for basketball if it happens too.
But end of the day, we're gonna stop Wemby, man. That's it.
That's the hardest thing. Wemby can literally you can throw that ball 2 feet above his head. No one can touch it, but he'll grab it and put it in the basket without
the Wilt Chamberlain stats that he's going to have in the NBA Finals, man, where it's going to be everyone's going to just be around him, just 102 points. There we go.
Crazy. What was the team he dropped? He dropped 35 and a half on a team. Was it the Lakers? I can't remember. It was stupid though. I mean, he just rolled to the basket. Someone would lob it up for him. He'd just go, all right.
At some point, he's gonna be shooting threes, but he won't. He'll be a layup. He's gonna be standing from the 3-point line, and then just his arm goes all the way, drops it.
Well, that's the best way to beat him is when he wants to play on the outside and he forgets that he's taller than everybody else, because he's either on it from 3 and he'll make 4 of them that night, or he won't hit a lick and he just won't be on the inside at all. Yeah. I do think Denver, Denver's a big problem for this. There's a lot of really competitive teams this year. I want the Knicks to win it all, but I do agree with you. Spurs might have the best chance just because who's stopping them.
And genuinely,
De'Aaron
perfect.
Fox, Stephon Castle,
exactly.
All great roster.
Big fan. Always been a big fan of De'Aaron Fox. He's my go-to 2K guy to trade for in
Fossil and Champagne, all these players, they're playing great together.
And for me,
Johnson, Cornette off the bench.
You put Fox is still speedy. He still has those the nice stealing hands there that he can just take the ball. It's your defense is solid. You have guys that can light it up offensively, but who's stopping Wemby? I don't think anyone is, man.
Wemby only stops Wemby. And I wanted to briefly hit on MVP. I think right now Shea and Jokic are the front runners. I think Jaylen Brown should get it. If I had a vote right now, I think Jaylen Brown should be the MVP. I know he's not super efficient, but he is just what he's done with the Celtics this year is unreal. No one expected it, and he deserves that kind of recognition.
So Jaylen Brown is in the NFL equivalency of. You can give it the Jonathan Taylor or the Dak Prescott of it, right? Where it's is he the MVP? Probably, because he's the most valuable to his team.
Yeah, without him, nah.
Without him, that team. But does he have the best stats? No. So I genuinely think it's probably going to go to Jokic again. He's
been the other night he had a triple-double, and it was 20 rebounds and 30 points and 15. It was something ridiculous.
It just feels like it's video game numbers, and once again...
it's video game numbers out of someone who looks like your uncle.
Awesome. Someone who literally looks like he does not care at all.
No, he just jogs up, and he's oh. It's perfect.
It's crazy.
Swish. It's awesome.
Crazy. Fantastic, dude. Well, I'm excited, man. We're gonna have a really good off season here. Do you have anything you want to say before we head out of here, dude?
Nah, man. Good episode. I love talking sports with you, so it's a great outlet.
Yeah, dude. It's fantastic. I love talking about how correct I am all the time, and really living in that world. So I've never been wrong before, and I won't be wrong again.
I'm going to promise the listeners right now, don't worry, we will not be arguing about Joe Burrow next week for 20 minutes.
I can't promise that.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you all so much for listening. Leave us a comment if you absolutely hate this. Leave us a like if you hate it even more. And we will talk to you next week.